Hey, enthusiasts, what's happening? This is Salty Language episode
The
617.
sexiest podcast on the network.
Yeah, back live on
Yes,
the
live on the
YouTubes,
internet instead of live in my
back
living
on
room.
com- yep, back on an actual computer instead of
Yeah,
just
it's
my
I
lappy.
feel like we're not talking over like CB radios like we were a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
yeah, it's quite nice. Um, yeah, I got that all sorted out. I was really worried because just money, and I took the computer back to the guy and was like, hey, this is not working. And he was kind of like, well, if it's a software issue, that's on you, not on us, and I'm like, no, I get it, but I've done all I can do. I don't know how to fix it, so I need it fixed either way, and he's like, okay, no problem, and told him what I had done and everything. And you know guy called me later that day and was kind of like, well, he's like, I put some new memory in the computer and it's running a lot better. And he's like, he's like, but I still can't get out of what it was doing. I don't remember if I talked about this on the last one or not, but it was looping to where it would be like, you need to restart your computer. And, so I'd restart and then it would say, you need to
Right,
restart
right,
your
right.
computer. So it was in a loop of that I couldn't break. And anyway, so he couldn't break it at first either. And he's like, honestly, he's like, I think the best thing to do would be just save your info, wipe the hard drive, reinstall, and then put your stuff back on. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. He's like, you'll have to put your programs back on that you had. I'm like, not a problem. So called me the next day. Hey, it's all set. Come on, come get it. Got it. Brought it home. Everything's working like a champ.
Nice.
Thank goodness. And um, put all my programs back on. What was nice was he made a list on the desktop of all the
Oh, I
programs
mean
and took
that's
off of it,
pretty stand up actually.
which that's aces because like I remembered most of them. Like obviously I would have remembered like Skype and Photoshop and Audacity because those are ones I
Right.
use regularly. But there's some other ones that I may have just completely forgotten about. So um went through, put all that back on there. The only thing that's the suck is, you lose
Mm.
bookmarks because I hadn't synced my browser in a while. I completely forgot about doing that after a while. And I was like, son of a bitch, because there's some that I use, like there were sites that I would comb for like the crazy life for stories for us to talk
Right.
about or topics. And there was some stuff for this and just various, it's not a huge deal, right? It's like whatever. But also it's like for the life of me, I didn't even necessarily pay attention to what the sites were. I just would go to them because they
Oh
were
yeah, right,
bookmarked,
right.
kind of like if you lost all the numbers in your phone, be like, I can't remember any of these because you've committed zero of them to your memory,
Right, right.
basically. you know,
Gotta love the age when we all have computers in our pockets. Yeah, there's
yeah,
only two phone numbers
but
I know. That's it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah, that's
crazy. And one of
basically it
them's
too.
mine. So,
Right. Yeah. I definitely. I know my number and I know my mom's cell phone number. I couldn't tell you the number of the house I live in. Like the line here, couldn't tell you. Um, and aside from that, I know Jen's number only because I had to know it for years, and it hasn't
yeah.
changed. That's probably it. I don't know that I know any beyond that. So, yeah. But the best part was when I went in to pick it up, the guy was like, he's like, all right, you're all set. And I'm like, I don't know you anything. And he's like, nope. And I'm like, not even labor? Because I'm thinking,
He
they
did
still,
stuff.
I should
Yeah.
owe you an hour of labor. Yeah, it's like I owe you an hour of labor kind of a thing. And he goes, no, he's like, you just got the computer for us. And he's like, we'd rather the whole experience is positive versus making you feel like you had to come in and pay more money and blah, blah. I'm like, well, I appreciate that, but I'm not trying to get, I'm not trying to get anything for free here. Like,
Yeah.
because, you know, like I'm thinking at least a diagnostic charge, nothing. Nope, nothing.
Well,
So I was like, okay, cool.
that's
Thank you.
cool. Yeah.
It is. And for sure, obviously, I'm going to, like, hey, you should go to this person. You know what I mean? Like, I'll for sure tell people they took care of me, So, It was so nice to get back on a fast computer though, because the laptop's fine. It's functional.
Is it
Really
functional?
slow. I mean, it's functional enough. Well, honestly, you know what it is with that is it probably needs
Yeah.
a clean install. I know one of the things on there that's lagging it down big time is I think I still have my iTunes library on there, so that'll for sure do. If I move that to an external, that would probably.
But I mean,
make
to be fair, I don't know how old your laptop is, but
yeah, not that old.
Okay,
it's like
because mine's pretty old, and when I finally broke the boot loop and was able to wipe it and do a clean install, it still runs like shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think with this one, I think it's just from having so much stuff on it for so long and stuff. I think it lagged it big time and whatever. But it works. It's great to have as a backup, or whatever. But it is slow. It's really slow. And I found that out like processing the podcast because, I run the stuff through that Adobe AI to clean it up and everything. And it took so long.
I bet. Yeah.
Because it's a slower computer. So, and downloading the files and stuff like that took a while, So, whereas with this one, like the files you sent for our last couple episodes, on the laptop, when I downloaded it, I clicked download and walked away. On this one, I clicked download and it was like a minute and they were done, basically. So it was much faster. So yeah. It's also nice to be on a giant screen.
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure.
It's funny that laptop's got, I don't know if it's 15 or 17-inch monitor, but or screen, I mean, but it's so fun. It just feels so tiny compared to the
after doing what I got going on here of using old TVs as monitors, and I got two of them, and I don't think I could ever go back to like a single tiny screen.
Yeah, well, especially going to a smaller one, it's like that was my biggest adjustment when I went from my iMac to that laptop when my iMac died. Was that was a 27-inch iMac, and I go to this like I think that's a 17-inch monitor if I'm not, or a screen. So, but that's still quite a difference. That's 5 inches
for sure
all around, basically.
For sure.
It's nice to be able to have multiple windows open to where I don't have to, like, where I can't see anything in the other windows.
Having flashbacks, use my laptop to do this. Have to have all these windows open. They're just like stacked on top of each other.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing that stinks about the laptop being slow is that, like right now I've talked about this before. I have 3 programs open. I have Audacity, a browser, and Skype open. And on that, it doesn't so much love having 3 programs open at the same time.
I totally understand that. Yeah, like you start smelling smoke. So, yeah. Melting silicone.
Delicious. What was funny is somebody I follow on Instagram posted that they were having computer problems, and they had the exact problems I had with the computer. They were like, they're like, it was working fine. Then all of a sudden, like none of the lights on my graphics card are coming up and it won't boot up and all this. And I was like, I just went through the exact same thing, and mine was the motherboard. So I hope yours is not that. I hope yours is just a power supply or something. They tried a power supply. There's a motherboard too. So yeah. They're like, oh, I wouldn't have guessed that. I was like, yeah, I would. That's like mine. I thought it was a power supply. That's why I took it in. I was really hoping it was just the power supply. But
why would it be that easy, right? Why would it be?
So,
whatever.
But anyway, hopefully we're all sorted out again and everything. So last night I went to download the update for Grand Theft Auto, and as soon as it started to download, it's like out of space, and I'm like, oh no, like I've filled my hard drive.
Do you have an external for your PlayStation?
That's what I filled.
All right.
So I was like, well, what can I real quick? And I was like, oh, I still have the Diablo beta on here, which is totally useless. So I deleted that, and that gave me enough room. I'm like, well, that's something I'm going to have to do in the next couple days is maybe go through and delete some stuff. because I gotta have room for updates.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I want to, because it sucks, because it doesn't. You have to have room for the update. Then it basically replaces the old file with the update, but you have to have all that space. It's like, remember on what was it, Call of Duty, where it would copy, and you had to have space for like the whole game basically, and then it would replace
lame.
it. Yeah.
Good job, Infinity Ward. Losers.
Right.
Yeah.
I hated that so much.
Pretty sure I'm just absolutely just done with Call of Duty games. Like, I bought that last one, and it was fun for a little while, and now I'm just over it.
I think that's where my problem lies with it, is that since they put a new one out every year, realistically, it's only gonna be fun for that short amount of time. It's like, that's why I got to where I did with like the sports games, to where I quit buying them every year. Like, me, I used to be Johnny every year buying Madden and everything. And then I was finally like, why am I doing this? It's basically the same game every year. It's like, just need to update it every, 2 or 3 years is more like it. I mean, the only part that sucks is, you don't get all the rookies and all that stuff, but who cares?
Unless you're an absolute diehard football guy, need all that. Who cares?
Right. I generally do a fantasy draft and play with whatever team I get anyway. So just for funsies, and then build my team from there. So I don't really even care about a lot of that stuff. So yeah, and I'm kind of that way now with, like, I'd be that way with Call of Duty. The problem is, after a year, people move to the new one, and then there's less people. Well, not always. Sometimes people do play the old ones because, they're favorable to a newer one. But I don't know. I'm with you. It's like, I feel like that game to me has about a 3 to 5 month shelf life.
Yeah, it's kind of, like, exactly.
Over it.
Now here's a question for you. In regards to, say, Madden. So, Madden comes out to what, like $60, $70, like every game is, right? Okay.
Yeah, most of the games now, they're trying to push all the games to 70 now. But I
say they put out a Madden that was called like what, Madden 2023 just came out, right? Or is that coming out soon?
Yeah. No, 23 was last year's. 24 will be this year's, or the next one, because it'll be the 2023.
So what if they put out Madden like 2023 to 2027, and it was like $100 game, but then it just would continuously just update, and it was like this game is going to be good for the next like 3 seasons. And then we're going to put out another one,
Right. I would be okay with that because like football's, because I play a lot of seasons when I play it. I kind of like doing that because it's fun to chase like records with guys and stuff, or whatever. Or same in baseball, it's like when I get one of the baseball games, I tend to play it for a long time because I'm trying to like make my guy a Hall basically. And for years the thing I hated was you couldn't just import your guy into the new season and keep your career going. Same in Madden. If you have a created character, you can't just import it into the new game and keep your career going, which would be really cool if you could.
So it'd be like you buy the game and it's current, and then next year rolls around and they're like, oh, you bought that game, so the new draft class, we're going to update it, and all these guys are going to be uploaded into your game. I mean, why can't they do that?
Right.
There's not enough money into it.
Yeah, then they don't get those sales every. Yeah. The way they'd have to do it would be like, here's the base game. It's like you said, say $100 because it's going to be for 3 years. And then you have to pay, like, have the roster updates be DLC basically. So where you have to pay $15 or something or whatever it is to get the roster updates. Because think about a season pass in each of like other games, like the WWE game. They have the season pass in that you get roster up, like different characters, or sometimes they'll put new gear or arenas, that kind of stuff in there. So I think it would work. I mean, I would probably be in for that, like if you did it, because you really could just go, oh, I want this draft class and then whatever, or I'm not going to bother and just keep playing the game, and that's fine. But the fact that they would get those draft class, but the fans of the game would bitch because, no matter what changes they make every year, everyone's not as good as it used to be, kind of.
It's thing. No Temco Super Bowl.
And it's like
whatever.
It's like, well, when you have a season that you absolutely love, when the new one comes out, don't get rid of the old one. Keep that one, and then you can keep playing it. I did that with a baseball game on the original Xbox for a long time because it was one of my favorite baseball games to play. It was a college baseball game, in fact, but it was so much fun. So I kept playing that even though the 360 came out. I was still playing that game, So it's like, just do that. I've done that with Madden where sometimes they do put out a new one. And I'll get it and be like, I don't like this because, sometimes they put things in the game that kind of are annoying. Like the one year when they had the quarterback cone vision thing, which was stupid. Like to where, and it was just stuff like that. It was like, I've always been like, if you're going to put that stuff in there, let me turn it off. That way, if I don't like it, you haven't ruined the game for me. And so.
Hey, Cheeto.
Cheeto's
joined the chat.
Hey, Cheeto. Excellent. So that's but otherwise I would be in for that. And I'd be that way with most sports games because I really don't think you need a brand new version of it.
It's either
every year because the graphics don't tend to get much better because it's on the same system, right? So it's pretty much the same graphics. I mean, the little differences, like the big differences in like Madden are like this year, I guess blocking is supposed to work better than it has in the past. And every once in a while, like the one year they introduced gang tackling, finally, to where like when one guy was near four guys, they weren't all just diving at the ground. They would actually kind of work together and grab and hold the guy,
the way it actually works.
It's really done. Yeah. That was a big change, something like that. I don't know if they could, just do a patch and put that into a game. I don't know, or if that's something you have to kind of build from the ground up, So stuff like that. But that's the stuff you go, hey, in the next, when you're building up for that next version, you're like, hey, we're gang tackling's in, we're improving the blocking, all the things you've bitched about for 3 years.
The way I see it, especially with sports games, is you need to make it either like a more expensive legacy game that goes over a few years, like we've been talking about, or you got to make it cheaper.
Yeah.
That and one, that like if Madden was like brand new $30,
Yeah. Well, you remember when Sega put out that football game where you could do the first person and everything? And we immediately went over and got it because it was, and it was a lot of fun too. But you remember that game was brand new, $30, and that was one of the huge selling points for that game. Because I don't know if you remember that game sold people like crazy because also first person. That was the first time that was in a football game. And, I remember us playing through a season with that.
For sure. That was good stuff.
A blast. And it was so sad when it went away because EA got the exclusivity.
EA doing what EA does.
That's what they do. That's what happens when you're the big dog. But I've seen people suggest stuff like a subscription base to where it's just X dollars a year and you just get keep updating the game kind of a thing. Or maybe that you do like you said, to where it's like the initial game is whatever, and then there's a subscription or a DLC cost past that. There's other builds, but I think EA is just like, hey, this works, so why should we mess with it?
I mean, which I get.
Yeah, because you look at like Adobe. Like Adobe went from having their like Photoshop and all that kind of stuff. The Creative Suite used to be a massive like $1,200 every time they put out a new version, and people were like, hey, most artists can't afford this. And you can use old versions and whatever. But then they were like, hey, we're going to charge X dollars a month or per X dollars per year, depending on how you pay, for basically a subscription base. And as long as you're subscribed, you have access to everything.
I think that's a good model.
And I do too. And I think it's really smart for them because they don't have to waste their time with a lot of other stuff. And you just get the new version. You just, whatever the updates are, boom, you just download them and you're ready to go. And it'd be awesome if you could do that with sports games too. So that's why I liked like Diablo was the last one, not the new one, but the last one, you know, it was X dollars and they just keep offering like here's more, you know, because Blizzard does that. They're just like, here's new shit,
I mean,
basically. And I was like, I'm shocked they don't charge a DLC charge. You know, they did eventually for the, I forgot what it's called now, but there was a whole new map and missions and all that. When they introduced that, that was like a $15, you know, charge.
Well, it's like, look at like all the battle royale games. Most of them are free to play, and then it's like, you know, you could pay for the season pass stuff to get more unlocks or whatever, or you don't have to.
Right.
I mean, I think that's obviously that model works. I mean, Epic is, you know, on top of the world of Fortnite, so yeah.
Seriously, yeah. Well, and there's been a bunch of other games that have gone that way too. You know, like even
Call of Duty of Warzone. I mean, they did it.
Can't think.
Yeah.
Warzone. Yep. Oh god, I think Halo's done it now. Yep. And God, what's the other Dynasty?
Destiny and Apex Legends too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge. The games are huge.
You know, big titles. Yeah, big titles, not just like random small whatever. So yeah, I think there's room for it with the sports games. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, EA has
actually. I have a sports game for you that is free to play, that is constantly updated. Yeah, Rocket League. Yeah.
Oh yeah, good point. You're right.
I mean, I know it's not. I know it's an unconventional sport, but it's a sport game.
But it is.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right. Totally right. That is a free to play and updated a lot. Yeah, and like you said, you can buy like cosmetic stuff and whatever in the shop. And
I mean, I was tempted to one day because they had the when I was playing Rocket League a little more, I was looking in the shop and they had the fucking Jeep Wrangler from Jurassic Park. And I'm like, oh, you know, I kind of want that, but I didn't buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's usually how I am in games like that. They'll do something and it's like you're sitting there with like your finger over the buy button.
Like the only time I've spent money on Fortnite was the Master Chief skin. Because it came up and like normally, like I don't play Fortnite very often. But I play it enough that I get the V-Bucks, which is what the coins are to buy shit. And I'm like, I didn't have enough to pick up the skin, and I'm like, fuck it. So I spent some money and bought the skin because it's the Master Chief, you know?
Right.
I mean, what are you going to do?
I'd be that way too with some of them. Like when they were doing the Marvel ones and stuff heavy, if I was really into the game, I would have probably dropped a couple bucks on some of those.
I mean, the newest thing, and this is months ago that I played it again, that they're doing is they have music tie-ins in Fortnite now. Because there's emotes that are music based. So like, because I was in the lobby, and like one of the emotes I have, he just like headbangs, you know, and throws the horns up and headbangs. And some dude was like, it was like playing Master Puppet. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I went over, just headbang next to him, you know? And then after the match, I went into the shop and like if you have a group of people and they all have that same Master Puppets thing, one guy will drum, two guys will guitar, one guy will sing. I'm like, that's actually pretty funny. But I started looking at the other ones.
That's pretty funny.
And I had enough of the stupid V coins that I got an emote now where you throw up the Wu-Tang W and it plays Cream. Yeah. So I'm like, nice. I saw that. I'm like, I have to get that.
Right.
Wu-Tang forever.
Wu-Tang forever. So. Yeah.
I mean, Wu-Tang is in Fortnite.
Awesome.
It's clearly for the children. Yeah.
Right.
What a silly game. That is a game I should probably play a little more often. Especially now that they have no build mode. I hate that shit. Oh my God. Just let me run around and shoot people.
Yep. I was talking with Fluffy Bunny Ash last night, and she was like, oh, by the way, I picked up the new Zelda. She's like, and it's awesome. You should definitely grab it. I was like, oh, I already grabbed it. I'm like, I'll probably start playing it around like 2097.
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah, it'll be the Switch.
We'll all be living our true life Cyberpunk 2077 lives. And
yeah. And I'll be like, hey, have you heard of this?
Dude, I just dusted off my Switch. What?
Yeah. A what? Like a light switch? Like, no, the Nintendo Switch. Like, Like, dude, they've already moved on to whatever Nintendo's
I just
new
have
system
Nintendo
is,
BioWare installed. I just play it in the air in front of my face.
Yeah. Right. You
Yeah,
still have a
exactly,
TV?
right?
Loser.
Oh man. I mean, I guess speaking of games, over the weekend we went to a really weird game convention. It was someone in the Toledo subreddit posted about it, and it was just some, was it called the like Be Kind Fest? I don't know. But they're like, oh, it's going to be board games and vendors and kittens. Like the Paws and Whiskers Foundation or whatever was there. It was at Lord's College. It's free to go. So I'm like, well, fuck it. It's free. Let's go check it out. It's kind of disappointing.
Right. Really?
I mean, it was kind of like cool to talk to the guy who owns Checkmate Games, and you know, there were some RPGs I didn't know existed that he was talking to us about, and there's some cool vendors there. There's a guy who does some pretty cool. He's a local dude too. Does some pretty neat leather stuff. But like all in all, it's just like, man, this is. I mean, I think we were there maybe a half hour. We just kind of walked. It was Logan, Michelle, and I. We just kind of perused and like we went into the game area and they were doing a bunch of demos, but it's all games either we knew how to play or had no interest in. Like, you know what? You know, well, you've seen my game closet, and Logan's is just the same but different games. So we're like black belts. You know, we have a lot of. That's what I'm looking for. I don't know either, but we're like, you know, we're like aristocrats walking into the, you know, this game convention with all these like peasants, you know, like, Sushi Go. Yes, I played that 7 years ago.
Yeah.
It was weird. And, you know, the kittens were adorable, of course, because kittens. But it was very strange. Like, there's a dude set up there. And I hope he sold something because maybe he's just on hard times. But all he had was just like cardboard and duct tape, like cosplay items. Like a big cardboard keyblade that was like it wasn't like markered in. All the colors were duct tape, and it was a little weird. Yeah. I was like, well, whatever floats your boat there, buddy.
Power to you, buddy.
I hope he did something with his life. You know.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
But then we came home and made smash burgers, and all was well. All was well. Man, I really, really need to get myself a griddle. That's what I was out there using my cast iron pan on the grill, just making one burger at a time like a loser. You know?
Right. That's the problem with smash burgers if you don't have a griddle, is that you really can only kind of do one at a time. Unless you're eating sliders.
It's like I did all the buns, like toasted them, pulled them aside, and that's just one patty at a time. And I'm just building burgers. Right.
Well, the worst part is, I saw your picture. You were doing doubles. So
we did two doubles, and all the rest were singles. You know? And then, but yeah, I mean, you know, the doubles were there for, you know, that's the money shot burger. That's why they were front and center.
For sure. Yeah.
And
understandable. That's my preferred.
They're delicious
anyway, but
you know, but man,
but you're right.
Yeah, I need a griddle for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I need to figure something out about that, like real quick. Although leftover burgers wrapped in foil and then thrown directly in the air fryer with the foil still on to reheat, gem.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Very well because our microwave died, so I'm like, well, fuck, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, because I wrapped them in foil because I honestly thought Logan was going to take some home with him, but he didn't. So I was like, oh, all right. Well, I guess these are for me now.
But, yep. 4 a.m, you're just gnawing on burgers.
It was pretty sweet. It was pretty sweet. Well, considering that, you know, the day before that was fucking hell week for me.
Oh, right.
We'll get to that.
Before we get into that, I need to take a quick break because I'm being paged at the moment. So I need to take a quick break, and then we'll be All right. Here we go now. All right.
That was fun.
Back. Yeah. So anyway, you were saying I forgot what you said. How weekend or what you called it.
So like I don't know. A while ago, right? I went to my
like back in
well,
like
it was actually
or so.
Like it was longer than I thought it was. Yeah, because apparently back in November, I went to my doctor because I was having like this like pain in my hip, and I was like, for sure, it's a hernia. For sure, because that's what it felt like. Because I've had a hernia, it sucks.
Right. Sure.
And like so, I go get poked, prodded. We talked about it on the show. I got an ultrasound done, all this stuff. Not a hernia.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, well, that's interesting. So I started like doing some because my doc was like, how about you go to physical therapy? And I'm thinking like, I'm not in CrossFit shape, but for my age, I'm all right. I don't think I need to go to physical therapy.
Yeah.
So I completely blew him off, considering exactly how much I had to pay for my ultrasound anyway. I'm like, I don't even want to deal with physical therapy now.
Right.
So
yeah.
I started looking online. I'm like, oh man, I might have like some sort of variation of like IBS. I need to start mixing fiber into my life. I started mixing fiber in my life, and things got better-ish. Right? But it was always like a knife in my side. Always. Some days were.
Now, did you make sure someone wasn't stabbing you in the side? Like Michelle's trying to like find a way into some insurance money or something. Or maybe the cat, trying to get revenge for being squished in the window.
That dumb cat. Oh God, I'd love to squish that cat in the window so hard. God, that cat's pissed me off lately. Anywho, so yeah, I always felt like I had something going on, but it was less. But then, like, the past month or so, it's been bad. Like it's been like sometimes like I gotta take a knee bad almost, like it's like it's been brutal. So I'm like, I gotta, and I'm like, I gotta talk to the doctor again. So I end up getting what I'm looking for, a referral to a gastro doctor, which of course was some young lady, and I'm like, this is great. She gets to see my old balls and ass. It's gonna be a great time,
Yep.
I love
You got to look at it the other ways. It's like you got to look at your privilege to see. You like they tell you in mental health, it's like you don't have to do something. Like they get to do that every day.
Well, fortunately for her and myself, we just had a conversation. Not that I want to sit there and talk to this young lady about my bathroom habits, but it's what you got to do.
Yeah.
And she's like, from what it sounds like, she's like, I think you probably have like IBS and like you probably are just like have bad constipation. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like, she's like, yeah. So I'm like thinking like, Dad always said I was full of shit. Accurate. So I got x-rays, and sure enough, that's what I don't know what's going on, but she's like, all right, I got your x-rays back. She's like, there's a lot of stuff in you. She's like, so here's what I'm recommending you do. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, well, basically. And I'm like, because the app I have for my doctor, you can like text with them, which is nice. So she just sent me I don't know. I should try to.
I mean,
medicinal dick pic.
Yeah.
A medicinal pic.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, I sent her a thing. I'm like, when should I start this? Because this was like Monday that I got, she gave me the direct x-rays, whatever, that she looked at. And I'm like, how aggressive is this stuff? And she's like, well, if you work during the week, I'd recommend, doing it on the weekend. Well, I was off Friday.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So I went and bought this, Marilax, which is apparently, according to everything I read online, like a smooth operator.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, so the dose is 1 cap full of powder a day, mix with water. You drink it. You're good.
Right. You were just drinking the bottle.
Dude. Well, and I bought that stuff Monday night. Tuesday I started taking the capful because I'm like, 1 capful a day can't hurt me.
Right.
Because everyone I looked at online and the Reddit forums I read were like, "Oh, stuff's a lifesaver." Stuff's.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, so like one capsule.
I'm familiar with it because of when after my dad had like chemo and different stuff.
Yeah.
Like you can get really backed up because it sucks all the liquid out of your body basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, so doing a capful a day, which is fine. No ill effects.
Right.
You know. But then Friday comes. So I'm like, all right, time to do this. Time to have this party. And I pull up my app and I look at what the dosage she's recommending. And dose is 1 capful a day. Right? So she recommended I get either a gallon of water, Gatorade, or juice, which is insane. Right. I'm never going to drink a gallon of fucking juice.
I wouldn't think so. Now, purple drink.
That's
a different story.
But so a gallon of liquid and then 14 capfuls of this stuff.
Holy shit, dude.
14.
It's amazing your eyes are still brown. No.
Dude, 2 weeks of dose in a day.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That is a.
And I'm like, all right. So I mixed it all up and I got some of those little.
And y'all only have one turlet in that house.
We do. I got some of those little like Crystal Light things. I made it like flavored because I wish I should have brought it up here. It's downstairs. I got this big, giant gallon jug.
Oh yeah, you sent.
Oh yeah. I sent you guys the picture. Thing's enormous.
Right.
And I just like all day. I just sort of like just guzzling on it. You know.
Yeah.
And it was like at first, it wasn't bad.
Right.
And it was honestly, like I felt miserable. There was like, I wasn't like getting bloated or anything. I felt just miserable because trying to choke down a gallon of water.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like when I'm at work,
especially because you're not a Joe who's doing this all the time.
Yeah. And it's like at work and it's hot. I'll crush a gallon of water. No problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Throughout the day. But it's like just me just sitting around, like trying to enjoy my weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm just guzzling this, laxative water.
You didn't ask if you can mix it with beer.
I kind of thought about it, but
you just pour it into a fifth.
Yeah, exactly. Just go fill 2 growlers up.
Yeah.
Put 7 capfuls in each growler. Yeah, so it was everything was like okay. And then it got insane. Like it was bad, Brian.
Right.
Like
I would imagine with fucking 14 capfuls.
Yeah, I slept on the couch. Yeah.
Well, at least you pulled that mercy move.
Yeah, because I was like, because I knew I was gonna be getting up, and I'm like, I don't want to keep her up because I keep getting out of bed.
Right.
I watched.
She doesn't want to have to sleep with a gas mask on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I watched Police Academy. Movie definitely doesn't hold up.
Oh no, for sure.
And I was sitting there watching it, going like, "This used to be one of the movies my cousins and I would watch all the time when we were kids." I'm like, I can't believe we were allowed to watch this.
Yeah, right. Well, it was the 80s, PG-13 or whatever was different.
Oh, there was like so much nudity in that movie, and just so much stuff that definitely wouldn't fly these days.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, like first, like right off the rip, first 10 minutes of the movie, it talks about how the police academy they're allowing everybody to apply to be a police officer, and like the chief of police is standing looking out at all the people on the fields that are coming in. He's like, once upon a time, everybody out there was the right height, the right weight, the right color. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh boy.
They're like, and they all had Johnsons. It's just like, holy shit, Police Academy.
Yeah. Jeez.
I know. Yeah, the 80s were a wild time, guys.
Yep.
Oh yeah, but it was just, dude, I mean, it was, I finally fell asleep at probably 2-something in the morning.
That's dangerous.
And I woke up pretty early, and it was probably into most of the next day too. I was dealing. It was a miserable experience.
Because first of all, that's basically meant to completely clean you out, And if you're backed up, I mean, it's gonna take a while.
Yeah, that was the quotes I got from my doc. When you start the bowel purge, like, oh God, this sounds awful.
That sounds like the worst version of that movie.
Yeah, right.
Like, okay, for 24 hours, anything you want to do with your bowels.
And let me tell you, I've never been happier to have a bidet. Bidets for life.
I bet, because I mean, you think about like wiping your nose like every 10 minutes when you have a cold and your nose just gets destroyed.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and the ass is even more delicate than
exactly.
that.
It's tender. It's a tender flower. Yeah, that's like Michelle just kept looking at me. She's like, God, you look so miserable. And she's like, and I was just like, it just sucks. It's like, it's not like I'm sick.
Right.
Like I've dealt with like stomach flu and food poisoning. That's awful. Right. It's like I did it to myself, and I know it's only gonna last a certain amount of time. But I'm like, it's like I was off work. It was beautiful. I wanted to get out of the house. I'm like, I can't leave the house.
No. Well, you could.
It's very dangerous.
Bad career move.
Yeah, very dangerous.
Unless you have a trash bag on you. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's all over now, and so far so good. Although we went to the zoo today, I still had a little like twinge at one point, but. I got to follow up.
I thought when you first said you were doing that, I thought it was, I thought maybe you had to have the old camera up the ass.
I mean, who knows? Maybe that's my future too. But
yeah, well, if nothing else, you'll know what it's like when it comes time for that.
Yeah, that's true.
Which isn't that far away for either of us. So
yeah, well, that's because that's one of the reasons I got a hold of my doctor again. Because I started seeing all these stories like colon cancer on the rise, men in their early 40s, and I'm like, I'm dying.
Damn internet. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, no matter how minor your condition is, the internet will convince you you're dying.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Whether it's WebMD or it's just something on Reddit.
Yeah. And it was just like news stories popping up, men in their early 40s of getting colon cancer at record numbers. And I'm just like, Yep, I'm dead.
Yep. It's ass cancer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so everything's fine-ish, I guess. I guess I won't know until I go see the doc again. Hopefully, the pain goes away. Because, dude, it was rough.
Is this something you're supposed to continue?
Yeah, she said, like
I don't need the 14
yeah, no,
tabs,
basically it's, when I was like, every day I've been doing fiber, and she's like, oh, we love fiber here. That's something we'll never tell you not to do. And then, like now.
Because most people severely miss the mark what we're supposed to have fiber-wise, which is weird because as much bread as people eat, you'd think, but, our food's so nutritionally devoid.
Yes, exactly.
Of it.
So, yeah, it's going to be part of my morning routine now, Brian, to make sure everything is loosey-goosey, I guess.
Nice 14 caps to start the day.
Oh, my God. Dude, that was so bad. And I really need to, like, up my water intake. Because honestly, I know I don't drink enough water at home because I don't like the way our city water tastes. Right.
Sure. And that helps too. That's something a lot of people don't necessarily know, but it's, that helps the process.
Yeah. And I mean, I used to crush water all the time, and I do at work. Right. But like this, I'm off all week this week. I got to be conscious. Like I got 2 bottles of water next to me. I got to be conscious.
Because otherwise you're going to just occasionally grab a bottle of water and that's it.
Yeah, like I told Michelle, I'm like, well, this is going to be a different week because I'm on vacation. There's no rules during vacation weeks. Right, but I'm not doing alcohol during the week. I'll save it for the weekends. It's just going to be, but although to be fair, I just had a nice Summit Cola, and I got a 0 sugar orange pop on deck because I already had a couple beers earlier. I think I'm all right.
I'm crushing a big K citrus drop right now.
There you go. So there you go.
I do have, my water, whatnot sitting right here. That's on deck.
That's something I never want to do again, but I'm sure I'll have to at some point.
The
purge?
Experience? Well, yeah. I mean, especially once
God.
it becomes colostomy. Jesus. Hopefully there won't be a colostomy time, but colonoscopy is what I meant.
Yeah, I mean the only thing I like when she walked in, I was like, oh, thank God she's got small hands.
Yeah, right.
Because
until she's like, because my hands are so small, I have to wear these attachments while I work, and she like clips on ones that are like 5 times the size.
I mean, all I could think about when I had my hernia was that that big Indian doctor with his fucking kielbasa hands.
Yeah.
Just give me a good old fashioned rogering.
Well, at least you got some enjoyment out of it.
Jesus. That was so aggressive.
Like, you're going to lube those things up first, right? No, I prefer dry.
Yeah, it was rough. That was rough, buddy.
Yeah, I imagine it was. Every time I hear somebody, prepping for the colonoscopy, I'm always like, God, it's just like, because I've had tummy problems for a long time. And, I've talked with my doctors and stuff about it, and they basically just think I have IBS, but it's not like, anything that they're super alarmed at because, I don't have, the scary stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
Blood.
But, yeah, basically, So, but it's like, I'm going to be 45 this year. So we're, like I said, we're right. Inching toward that.
On
that
deck,
mark.
baby.
Like, God, I'm not looking forward to doing that. Cause it's like, I have enough issues on my own, let alone, like you just said, like doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here, let me drink this giant jug of, clean me out juice.
Oh yeah. It was, dude. Like I was just sitting outside on the patio. We were sitting out there together. And I'm just like, miserable, just chugging it, and I'd put it down, and I'd be like, "Oh, I gotta run inside," and I'd come back out and sit down and just chug more of it.
Outside?
Oh, dude, it sucks so bad.
You should just hung your ass over the fence into the neighbor's compost.
Yeah, right. and then like I woke up the next day and I was starving because I didn't really eat because I was so full of water.
Oh. Right.
I didn't hardly eat anything the day before, and I was starving, but I'm still like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Medical stuff sucks, is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah. Right. We're not. That's why I said we're not meant to live to this age. We were supposed to be dead at like 35.
Oh, God, hell yeah.
Our damn vanity trying to push things to 80 and 100.
I know, right?
What are we doing?
It's crazy.
Just die at 35 with dignity like we're supposed to.
We did go to the zoo today, though, which is cool. Yeah. I haven't been to the zoo in years, man, except for the lights.
Oh, man.
We usually go to lights every year, but
I think I've been to the zoo once since I was out of elementary school.
No shit. Dude, you should do yourself a favor and go someday.
Never go.
Like today on Mondays, you wouldn't be able to do it because you're not a Lucas County member.
No.
Mondays, if you live in Lucas County, you get in for free as long as you show up between 10 and noon. They've got a 2-hour window.
All right.
And dude, they've added so much stuff to it.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a top level zoo.
Oh, it's always ranked top in the nation.
Yeah, it's like near top 3 almost every year. Sometimes higher.
We have a great zoo.
Yep.
And I ran into your nephew Mike there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just texted me like, "Hey, are you here?" He must saw like a picture I put on Facebook. And it was weird. Yeah. Like him and his girls and his wife came over, and we're like, hey, and then they were just gone. And I'm like, all right. Okay. And so I just texted.
Guess we're not hanging out.
So I just texted him. I'm like, well, I don't know where you guys went, but it was cool seeing you.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Right.
Yeah, we ran into them once again later, but we were basically on our way out. Right. But they added this Kodiak bear exhibit this year.
Yeah.
They've got this male bear in there. I would not want to run into this thing out in the wild. He's fucking huge. Right. He looks like a car with claws and fur walking around.
Pretty much what they are, yeah.
He is huge. And he was like right by the glass.
Yeah, putting him on the glass.
Yeah. Dude, it's just like I couldn't wrap my head around what a big animal it was. And then it stood up to start rocking this tree stump, and when he stood up, it's just like, God damn, fucking monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, it was.
So what you're saying is you didn't get in the exhibit and wrestle?
No. I mean, if it would have been 2 days earlier when I was full of water and laxatives, I would have gladly just let myself in there and be like, end it for me, please.
He would have just played with you for 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then he lets you go. It's like, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I think it was fucking huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the zoo's cool, but let me tell you, on free day,
Oh, I bet it's a crazy place.
It's crazy. And, like Michelle's mobility's diminished significantly. So she's got a prescription wheelchair now, which is awesome, actually, because we can do stuff like this and she doesn't die 10 minutes into it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So
but I like the mindset I have is anytime I saw someone with like a stroller or a wheelchair, you get the fuck out of the way, you hold the door for them, you do.
Yeah.
Dude, people just are so oblivious.
Yeah.
Like if I was sitting in a chair, I'd be running into, like, Michelle's always like putting her feet down and stopping me. I wanted to start running into kids.
Yeah, you need a cow catcher for the front.
Oh my God, yeah. I was thinking like some of those like Roman chariot shredders on the wheels.
Oh yeah, that's even better. Yeah, I like that idea. That's pretty smart.
Oh my God, just people are assholes, man.
Yeah. Yep. Notice that pretty much in every public setting is that everyone is so in their own circle that they don't pay attention to anything else.
Yeah.
It's really sad. Not everybody. I mean, there are still plenty of people who do, but there's so many that don't. And it's like, it takes such little effort to just, like you said, if you see somebody with a wheelchair or something, it's like grab a door for them to help them. Especially that. It is such a pain in the ass trying to get somebody in a wheelchair through a door and hold the door open at the same time.
Because
I've done it. It's not fun.
As accessible as the zoo is, a lot of their buildings are still pretty old. And they have ramps, but they don't have, like, a lot of them don't have the switch to hit it and the door opens.
The auto doors. Yeah. Yep.
So, it was a lot of, if it was a push door, I'd just be like, all right, Michelle, ramming speed, and she just put her feet up and blast through the doors.
Yeah, right. I mean, it works, I guess. Yeah. I've seen people, like, if I see somebody with a wheelchair like that, I always will run over and grab the door for them. Because, like I said, I've been there. I know how much of a pain in the ass that is.
And I'm not saying it was everybody. There's definitely a lot of helpful people.
Yeah, that's why I said, it's not everybody. But there's a lot that just don't pay any attention or just don't bother.
And
they'll look you, like, right in the eye is the worst part.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It'd be different if they didn't look at you, but they look at you right in the eye and then just watch you struggle, basically.
Like,
then you almost expect, like, them to have their phone and be like, oh, look at this idiot,
It's like we were trying to get through somewhere and there was this, like, big fat white trash lady and it was just on her phone, and she looks over at us and just gets back on her phone. They move. I'm like, it's like, what the get out of the way.
That's my thing. It's like, if you look at somebody, it's like, come on, now you're in the way. Like, don't act like you don't.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, all in all, it was a good experience because, I mean, in my previous relationships, going to the zoo was always a stressful thing, and then turned into like a forced march through the area to get it done as quick as possible.
Oh, that's a good time.
Yeah, it's a great time. So it was kind of nice to, like, slow down and actually look at stuff, and, like, just relax a little. It was a good day all in all, but all I had was the IT crowd quote constantly going, people, what a bunch of bastards. That's all I had running through my head.
Right.
Because they are. People suck.
Yeah. Well, we keep quoting Slipknot on that one.
Also keep quoting Slipknot, exactly. I mean, people do indeed equal shit.
Too many of them, unfortunately.
And then, we're cruising through Zoom. Michelle's like, man, I'm getting kind of hungry. I'm like, nope, not here.
Like, there's plenty of meat right there. Go fight that bear.
Like, a kielbasa was like $12.
Yeah, I was going to say.
A can of pop was $4.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, I was like, no, we're not.
I get it, though, right? Because they know they've got you there, and just like any place that like a ballpark or anything like that, they know they have that captive audience, and you're going to pay it because, especially if you're, like, not done with the zoo yet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that's why
we just went hungry.
We used to just take the cooler to sandwiches.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I had a little bag packed of drinks. But then it said, like, no drinks allowed or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Because I remember always doing that.
Yeah.
They never checked shit. We could have brought that. We could have bought that bag of drinks in. Because it's the bag. It's a cooler bag. It looks like just a bag.
Yeah.
And I had it hanging on the back of Michelle's chair. And I was thinking, like, there's no way they're going to check, like, a wheelchair bag.
I wouldn't think so, yeah.
No, no one even looked.
Although, that would be a great... I mean, if you're going to run a scam like that, I mean, that's the move.
That is the move, for sure. But, oh, God, excuse me, I'm dying. All in all, the zoo was cool. We topped it off with a nice little impromptu lunch at Stubborn Brothers. Got a couple slices of za.
Nice.
Because...
Yeah, I just saw an Instagram post from them the other day. I was like, man, that looks good.
Yeah. Oh, and Cheeto just said beers at the zoo. We walked into one of the buildings and they had beer taps.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? And it was like inside the 5 beers on tap.
Oh,
and I couldn't find out how much they were, but there was signs as you were leaving the zoo that was like no alcohol beyond this point. So I think you can get a beer and walk around the zoo now.
Interesting.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah. That seems like a really bad idea, but...
I mean, yeah, I agree with that too. But it's kind of cool also, at the same time.
But also, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
the adult in me says that's a great idea, but the adult in me also says that's a terrible idea. But the beers are probably like ballpark prices, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Probably like $8 to $10 for a Bud Light or something.
I mean, they had 3 inside the 5 taps and then a Bud Light tap.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that the craft beers would be stupid expensive.
Probably. Yeah, probably like $12 a cup or something like that. For who knows how much, probably 10 ounces.
Yeah, exactly. Still cool, though.
I mean, the upside to the price being high is that's generally a deterrent, so you won't see somebody walking around with like 12 cups of the, what do they call them? Where do they have like the cup stacked?
Oh, the cup snake or whatever?
Yeah.
You just go drop the cup snake in the reptile house.
Yeah. Snake.
Leave it in the Hall of Venom. That was cool.
Nice. Bunch of Eddie Brock stuff in there.
I wish.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. No, it was good times. It was a good day for it. It wasn't hot. It wasn't cold. It was overcast. I mean, it was a really good day to go. No rain.
You got the in-between day for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember years ago, my sister was going to take me and my nephew when we were younger, but not kids, probably like 12 or something like that.
Right.
And the day, because it was, they've always had the free day basically. And whatever the free day was, when like on the way out there, it just started pouring. It was like, well, that's shot because so much of it was outside.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no point. No point in going.
Like now, honestly, they've got a lot of cool indoor stuff too. But back when we were kids,
it was just all outdoor pretty much.
Well, and the indoor buildings were like, the same buildings they had in the 60s and shit.
Yeah. Right. Like the monkey house that reeked to high heaven.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the cat house was the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember my nephew, the last time I went, I remember he could not go in the monkey house because he started to smell it and started gagging, and we hadn't even gone in it yet. We're like, okay, I guess we're skipping the monkeys.
No monkeys.
And I'm like, why don't they have this place vented? like God.
Why would you do that?
Yeah. You let all that monkey stink.
Exactly. All that monkey musk.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Gross is right.
Yeah, Cheeto says it was $11 for a tall boy IPA at Hershey Park. So yeah, that's my guess, is it would probably be somewhere near that point.
Yeah, that'd be I mean, I like the fact that it's available, but
yeah.
Yeah.
That's like at the ballpark, I'll have a beer. And I'm usually good because they're usually like $8 to $10, and I'm like, I don't want to spend $50 on a few beers.
Yeah, for sure, right? That's why you pregame.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, especially like for us at the ballpark. I mean, Jesus, within walking distance, there's like 9 million bars.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, there are pretty much for any ballpark, but but with us, there's a lot of bars we really like right around, around the corner.
I mean,
hell, we could leave. You could almost leave if you could. I can't remember if you can go out and go back in.
I think like you can get your. No, you can't. If you leave, they're like, "Fuck you, you're not coming back."
That's what I thought. Yeah, I was gonna say, because otherwise you could just like, oh, 7th inning stretch. Let's go get a few pints.
Yeah, exactly. While they're singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," I'm gonna go do a shot.
Yeah. Oh, you no more, like, because I think at the 7th innings when they do the cutoff, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, oh, okay, well, we'll just go over here and Although you could just leave the ball game and go over to like the Blarney or whatever, because they usually have the ball game on the TVs.
Shit, you can go to Frickers and look out the window onto the field.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah. Settle that right up. It's like when we went to Toronto, one of the cool things was it was called oh my God, I can't remember what it was called back then. Anyway, the stadium that the Blue Jays played in was connected to the Hard Rock Cafe. So when you were in the Hard Rock Cafe, same thing. You could literally look out onto the field, and I was like, I just thought that was the coolest thing, because that was the first time I had been to a ballpark that had that, because I hadn't been to that many ballparks before that.
Right.
I haven't been to that many at this point either, but but I was like, this is so cool. I could just sit in here and watch the game.
I do believe
the air conditioning.
I believe it was called the Moose Dome.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
No, it was
Beaver Park.
No, it had nothing to do.
Mountie Yard.
No. Because I know it was the Rogers. Was it the Rogers Center or something at one point? It wasn't that though. It was before all of those things really got, like to where it was all company names for the stadiums. But whoops.
Was it? Hey, I'm trying to think of more Canadian things. Was it Tooney Field?
Yes. No. Sky Dome. That's what it was.
That sounds like a shit game.
Yeah, but then it became like the Rogers Center.
Of course it did.
Or whatever. Yeah. That's Center CENTRE.
Of course.
Because they don't know how to spell.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
We should go to a ball game this year, Brian.
We should. I love going to a ball. A day like today would have been perfect.
It would have been perfect for a game.
Because, man, a nice low 70s overcast day is perfect for a ball game.
But I just got to let you know, if we do go to a ball game,
14 caps and beer.
You're going to have to shell out a little bit more for a ticket, because you got to go up onto the second level.
Oh,
you get away from the riffraff. You have your own bathrooms up there.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a total, like, I always got tickets down to like general seating, and it's not much more to go up to the next level.
Okay.
And it's so worth it.
Oh, I'm fine with that. I mean, listen, my favorite place to sit at the ballpark are, along the baselines or but the problem with that is that's also where a lot of people are. And you remember last time we went, I get angry because people don't watch their kids.
Oh yeah.
And although I think they have netting down the line now that, since the last time I was at a game, because it's been a few years since I've been to a game, but thank God they finally put netting up to protect people from the line drives down the baselines, because those are so dangerous.
Right.
And it just always bugged me. Remember when I was like, it bugs me that people will sit their kids like on the first baseline, they'll let the kids sit to their left. It's like you should always have the kid to your right. That way you can at least have an attempt at human shielding.
Take the hit.
Because those baseballs are coming off those bats at like 70, 80 miles an hour,
I do have a good kid at the ball game story for you. It's a guy I work with, his grandkids. They're at the ball game. His grandkid's 3, right?
Yeah.
And you know how you can get down by the baselines and you can watch the guys warming up?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so the kid was down there. He's got his little sunglasses on. He's got his little mitt. His little hat's on backwards. And he yells out to the players, "Hey, throw me a fucking ball."
Did they?
I don't know. I never got that. I was laughing too hard. I know if I was a player, I'd be like, here's a batting glove, Here's all kinds of shit, kid. Because that's hilarious.
Sure, yeah. I mean, maybe, hey, maybe be a little nicer, but here's a ball. I love it, though.
Yeah, I know, right? Good times.
That's awesome. That is one of the things I love about our stadium, is that when you sit down the baselines, when they're warming up, I mean, they're right in front of you.
Right there, yeah.
Like, you remember when we were there was that dude, Fernando Rodney, I think was his name. He was a Tigers player, but he was rehabbing in Toledo. You remember he was that dude throwing that like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
We were like, holy shit, because the ball was popping so loud in that mitt, coming off his hand. It was like, man, he didn't have a long career, but Jesus, could he throw some heat?
Throwing the heat.
But that's why he didn't have a long career, because, You throw 100 miles an hour, you're just going to burn your arm out probably.
True.
Yeah. But man, that was impressive. I've always wanted to stand in on a major league pitcher just to see what it's like, like to take a 95-mile-an-hour pitch or something, like,
to see how fast it comes by.
Yeah, because I know I don't have a chance in hell of getting the bat on that thing. Not a chance, right? Like, I probably couldn't even hit anything near high school level, like, unless I just get real lucky.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a chance.
Yeah, I have a puncher's chance. But realistically, I've stood in batting cages where they have the high school speed ones, and I used to be able to get contact on them, right? At this point, I'm so out of shape. It is so
Dude,
old.
I haven't been to a batting cage in so long.
I doubt I'd be able to get much on
I almost want to go just to see how I do.
Right? But it's like, I would love to just stand in. It's one of my, like, bucket list things is I would love to just have that ability to just stand in and take a few pitches just to see what they look like from that perspective.
I'm sure it's low-key terrifying.
Like, oh, right? Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'd probably be like, yo, I need, like, the full cage batting helmet. Like, give me, like, the Dominic Hasek goalie mask. With the wire.
I need some body armor.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, the things I would love is to take 10 pitches and literally take cuts at them, right? See if I can even get the bat on one of them, right? But also, I'd love to have them brush me off the plate with one, not hit me, of course, but I'd love to see, like, what it's like to have a pitch basically whiz by your face.
Yeah, like I said, low-key terrifying, I'm sure.
Low-key terrifying. Like,
probably
absolutely.
Shitting your not pants. Me. I'm nothing there. There's nothing left.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just dust. Yeah. But that's something I've always wanted to do. It's one of those things where I wish I knew somebody who, like, knew someone who pitched in the big leagues or something, like, even if they couldn't get like 95, like if they could still get like 85 or 90, like the closest I could have ever come was years ago. One of the dudes I was hanging out with when I worked at Hollywood Video was a guy who he pitched at Whitmer, actually, our high school, and he pitched in college, and he probably could get 80, 85. And I never took the opportunity to be like, yo, let me just go stand. He was a lefty too, which would be even more terrifying for me. Because as a left-handed hitter, that ball coming off his hand always looks like it's going to look like it's going to be right at your face. Especially if he throws a curve or something where it goes out wide and then drops in front of you, That's why if you watch a baseball game, if you see a batter get their knees buckled, usually it's because that pitcher's got a wicked curveball. And they think they're going to get hit in the face with it or something, Also, if you read it wrong and it's a slider and not a curve, you could get hit in the face. And that slider is going to be 90 miles an hour, So, but yeah, like I said, that's something I've always wanted to do. Less as I get older, because like I said, I feel like I have less of a chance at it. But it was something younger I would have loved to have stood in there and just, like I said, I don't feel like I really have a shot at it, but I want to try. And I would do the same for fast pitch softball also. Like, an elite level, like fast pitch softball. I'd love to see what that looks like, because that would be even crazier because that ball rises, and any experience I have in a batting cage, that ball is either coming straight or it's dropping.
Plus, you get to be out there with them thick softball chicks. Yeah.
True.
That's all right.
Kill me though.
It's an honorable death.
Me love snoo. Yeah.
For glory.
But I remember I've seen a couple times on TV where they've done that, where they've taken like Jenny Finch, who used to be a pitcher for the U.S. softball team, and had her pitch to like baseball players. And the movement is so different because, like I said, it rises up instead of dropping. So they're like, they don't track the pitch the same way. It's fun to watch them have
a totally different animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Anywho.
Anyway, enough of that.
I
watched the first season of the new Beavis and Butthead.
Very nice.
Over the week too. Yeah, that was enjoyable. Man, I love the episodes where it showed them as older guys.
Yes.
God, it's just so nailed you know, what they would be basically.
I think my favorite little like bit was when Beavis was like worshiping the dumpster fire, and it was just like making him do like good stuff. He's just like
so great. Like go clean up trash.
I guess that's cool. All right.
No, not that one, the blue one. It was so good. That one, I think you're right. I think I laughed harder at that one than I did anything else they showed. Dude, in the one episode where it shows them as older, for anyone who's not a comic book fan, when it shows Smart Beavis and Smart Butthead, they're the Watcher. Like, they are exactly in the Watcher's outfits from Marvel Comics. And when I saw, like, did you notice they even do the, like, extra shadowing on their foreheads and stuff like they would do in the comics? It was so well done.
I mean, Mike Judge is a treasure. He's just a treasure of a man.
Yeah, I was so happy when I heard they were bringing that back. And also, like, there's like 3 or 4 of the people that are working on that show that I followed on Twitter back when they were like really struggling comedians, you know, and to see them get to not only be better comedians, but also like getting work on TV shows, which is something I know a couple of them really wanted. You know, it's pretty awesome to see, you know, people get the jobs like that they were really excited about. Like Eden Dranger is one of them, and she was so excited when she got that job. She was posting all over her Twitter about it, and it was like, this is awesome, you know, because, you know, like, it's so funny to see somebody like, dude, I got the Beavis and Butthead job, you know.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie too, like, I've got that pink Beavis and Butthead shirt, no joke. Whenever I wear that, at bare minimum, at least once every time, someone goes, "Hey, I really like your shirt," and the age of the people saying this to me is vast, and the demographic is vast. Yeah, sure, it's weird. Yeah. Like, I bought it because I was like, well, I don't mind wearing pink. I mean, I'm secure in that aspect. Yeah. But I bought it because it was a cool Beavis and Butthead shirt, you know? Like, hell yeah. I haven't worn one of these since I was a teenager.
Yeah, dude, I love that episode where they a moment, like, because that bully like smacks them in their heads together, and then they wake up and they think that they're each other. So then it shows like Beavis is wearing the AC/DC shirt and the red shorts, and Butthead's wearing the Metallica shirt. And they think that by abusing that body, they're actually abusing the other one's body. It's so dumb, but it's so on brand. And then the one with where the girl is interested in Beavis.
Oh yeah.
You know, and ends up setting the school on fire because he admits that he loves fire. I love when he's like, "I've never admitted this to anyone before, but I love fire."
He's like all serious sounding. It's good. It's very well done.
It was. There were a couple of them that are a little, but it was, but that's how it was originally too. But it really fucking took me back, and you know,
and it's good because they're making fun of like YouTube and TikTok, and it's a good transition.
You know, my favorite thing in there was it didn't feel dated. It didn't feel like you're trying to pick up on something that's no longer relevant. And I really was glad they were able to find ways to do that without it, you know, and still be
like true to form,
funny,
but still current.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, you know, it reminded me of something that I always thought was funny when we were younger too, which is that I love the fact that Butthead's name must actually be Butthead, right? That's not a nickname, because like the teacher calls him Butthead, and everyone in authority positions call him Butthead. And it's like you never hear anyone like question why the hell is his name
that's very
Butthead?
true.
You know?
Yeah.
Good shit though. Good shit. It's, I mean, I watched it on Hulu Plus, had it on the like Comedy Central whatever. So I watched it on there, and you know, it'll be out of there by this Wednesday, cuz actually I wasn't gonna watch all of it, and then the little expires Wednesday thing. I'm like, oh well, I better
power through this, baby.
Because I think the new season, I don't know if it dropped or is supposed to drop soon.
I'm not 100% sure, I'll be honest.
So that's probably why it's not going to be in there anymore. Because what do you call it? Paramount will probably want it exclusive to them again. Brian.
Gotta be.
So, but it's awesome that they show it on Comedy Central, because then, you know, hopefully season 2 will be that way too. I can watch it that way, and unless I get Paramount for, you know, for the Star Trek content.
I did start watching Lower Decks when I was dying on the couch, and that was I watched a few episodes. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it. It didn't grab me right away. Like, I felt like it didn't know what it wanted to be for the first few episodes, but it just keeps getting better as it goes, because they really find their groove.
Like, I was watching the first episode, and I was just amazed at how it was this animated, goofy ass show, but it felt very Star Trek. Like the font, the blue, the sound effects. It's like I felt like when I was a kid watching Next Generation. You know, I was just like, oh yeah, this is bringing back all those like core memories.
Yeah, it's very much a love letter to Star Trek. It's not, you know, I mean, they make fun of some of the tropes of the show, but it's not like, but it's all in a loving way. It's not done to mock Star Trek. It's for sure from somebody who loves the show. Or shows, however.
The universe.
Yeah. The two main characters from that, I guess, they did a reel where in Strange New Worlds, they're actually in it. Like, live action.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And like for, I think, the upcoming season, and people are like super geeks for that. I haven't watched that at all. That's why I said there's a lot of Star Trek content that's been on Paramount that I just haven't gotten to yet. So at some point I need to like shut down all my other streaming services and just get Paramount and just binge all the Star Trek, basically.
Trek binge.
Yeah. Or I need somebody who has a password to help me out, you know.
One or the other.
You know. Yeah.
Last week I discovered, I guess I can't say I discovered, because I was turned on to it by a guy I know. Probably some of the best tacos I've ever had in my life. And tomorrow we will experience this together. You for the first time, me reliving my dreams.
Right.
Dude.
Naturally.
It's so good. And it's like, it's in a weird spot, only because I know that rent over there can't be cheap. And when you walk in, you're like, this belongs in like the hood. Because, you know, you walk in, it's kind of like dark in there. You know, they've got a big menu that you don't know what any of it is. There's always pictures on the wall of the food that you can just be like, oh, I'll take that, you know? And there's like 4 tables.
Yeah.
But it's so fucking good.
I can't wait. I've been fiending for some tacos anyway. I was actually, before you mentioned that to me, I was actually thinking of hitting you up and seeing if you were down for like condado or something like this week. So when you mentioned that, I was like, that'll work, because I've been fiending for some like legit tacos. I mean, I can make tacos, but it's just never the same.
And their their birria tacos are amazing, but
I'll for sure
dude,
grab
Taco
some of that
Tuesday and it's $1.75 a taco. That's cheaper than Taco Bell. It's insane.
Yeah. And it's probably slightly better tacos.
They were so goddamn. Like, Michelle was like, we're eating them. She's like, I think these are the best chicken tacos I've ever had. And you get these sauces. And one's got a little bite. One's like a verde. Oh, goddamn. I can't wait.
Similar to like those ones I had in Wheeling.
Yeah.
Like where I had 3 different sauces.
Yeah, well, these ones,
the
lady that was working just brought these big squeezy bottles out for us. So I would take a bite and I'd shoot a little more on the taco and take a bite and shoot a little.
I wish that's what I would have gotten, because remember that red sauce on that first one I had. I'm like, whoo, this got some heat. Like, thank God I had that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a little Taco Tuesday tomorrow. Because especially, like I said, dude, sack of tacos, someone just go around the corner and have a nice beer at Ernest. Yeah.
Yep. Sounds like a time to me.
Big fan of this idea. Yeah, and Cheeto is right. Taqueria 304, that place is delicious. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yes, thank you, Cheeto. I would have never remembered.
Same. I just knew it was that dope ass.
Taqueria, I would have remember number.
I just know it was that dope ass taco place. They had a really good beer selection.
Yeah.
A shockingly good beer selection.
I mean, honestly, when we walked in, I was like, shockingly good tacos too, because I really thought everything was just made on that little
that's right.
burner.
Yeah. Right I forgot that little
tiny stove.
Little induction burner they had plugged in.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know about this, man.
That shit was good.
I was like, oh, they have a food truck out back.
Yeah,
okay,
that shit was good.
All right. They just do some of the stuff in the oven, like the shells for the taco salads and stuff. Okay,
it's all now coming together.
Yeah. Also, it was very much like, why aren't they working on our food?
We're the only people here.
Yeah, they're just not. They're cooking, but not any. Like, I hope that's not our food. We're gonna have to wait like an hour for these.
Good shit.
Good shit. Well, you know what sucks this week? Was Iron Sheik died.
I did see that. Sheiky baby.
Yeah, Sheiky baby the real. Yeah, it was. I mean, not shocking. I mean, he's had bad.
He was
like
in his
80s,
wasn't he? I mean,
yeah, something.
He's
like
outlived most wrestlers by far.
For sure, and he's definitely done some of the rough shit. Too. He wasn't. But man, they showed. I was watching replay of SmackDown last night, and they, WWE is always great at the tributes and stuff. And they showed stuff from back when he was younger, and holy shit, with a full head of hair and no facial hair, and back when he was on the Iranian national wrestling team, and I mean, I know if he was like literally a world class athlete, like top level legit wrestler, and then transitioned into sports entertainment and had an amazing career as one of the best villains maybe ever, because he used, I mean, it's the cheapest of heat, especially in the 80s. It was all you had to do was come out. Like, I'm watching Futurama the other night, and Bender gets into the ultimate robot fighting. And this one guy, his gimmick is just, I'm the foreigner. And he comes out and he's like, I'm not from here. I have different opinions or different customs. And people are
100% works.
And I'm like, that nails it. That's totally anyone who wasn't Hacksaw Jim Duggan or Hulk Hogan in the 80s, basically. If they came out and he used to bow down to the Iranian flag, and he'd get on the mic and be like, America, and all this. But it's like, but this was before the internet, and these people are just eating out of his hand. That's how good of a heel he was. And people didn't realize, like, this dude lives in America.
Exactly. It's not like he's here on a work visa.
Exactly. It's like he doesn't go back to Iran in his off time. He lives here, it's all that stuff. And he loved, living in America, but it was just, that gimmick was so hot because it was, you put him against Hogan or Sergeant Slaughter or any of the pro-America guys, and it's just money. It's just Prince. Its own money,
he's got curly shoes. Boo.
Yeah. Yep. Look how he twists his mustache. Boo. Look how he's swinging those things behind his
club
back.
Things that I definitely couldn't do. Boo.
Oh, dude. I remember seeing Action Bronson as he was doing his weight loss and strength journey, as he's doing that when he first started doing those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh my God!" Like, he's like, "You want a way to destroy your arms, basically, in the best way, like And I was like, "Yeah, I bet." And Sheik used to do that, like, before matches. He'd come out with those things and just start rocking them around, and then get in and do his match. You'd think his arms would have been just
right?
Fire, but yeah,
good old Sheiky baby.
So, oh man, and that's just years of good fun entertainment on Twitter. Also,
I mean,
now what's going to happen probably is Hulk Hogan's going to come out and say that they buried the hatchet and that they were best friends, because that's what he does when guys he had beef with die. He immediately will go, "Oh, I just talked to that brother the other day.
Let me tell you something, brother."
And we made peace, and it was nothing but love.
Sheiky and I, we sat down over some hummus and pita, brother. Had some tea, brother.
So, yeah, but it was really sad when I saw, he passed away, because it's like I said. But I remember being a kid,
everyone hated
him. So exactly, that was the gimmick, right? I mean, that was, like I said, eating out of his hand. That's how good of a heel he was. Never broke character. Never was. I don't remember him ever being a good guy. Like during my time watching wrestling, he was always the evil foreigner.
I don't think he was ever. I don't ever recall him doing a churn.
Yeah. Right. And if you needed someone to get some heat on them for a heel turn, you just pair him with Sheik. And people immediately are like, you betrayed the U.S. Boo.
No more eagle screams for you, motherfucker.
Yeah. So, R.I.P. Sheiky, baby.
Formerly living legend.
The man who brought the word jabroni to pro wrestling, as far as we know, even though The Rock is mostly known for it. But The Rock has openly said he got it from Sheik when he was a little kid, basically.
Yeah.
Because his dad wrestled with Sheik, and, Sheik would always talk about jabronis. So, and The Rock made it famous and made a buttload of money off using that term.
That's what The Rock does.
Always crediting Sheik, though, in fairness. Always crediting Sheik. He never was like, I made this up. So give him credit for that. He didn't just pretend like it was his.
Sheik would have thrown him in a camel clutch and humbled him.
Yeah. Humbled him. Broke his fucking back. Yep. That's right. I love, my favorite thing about Sheik might be the fact that he was as old as he was, and there's no way. Listen, I still wouldn't want to fight him because old man strength,
joke.
Right? But you had a better shot at him.
Oh, for sure.
Like he was pretty rough. Like couldn't really get around real well and all that stuff. But I love how he was still constantly like, I break his fucking back to anybody.
Classic.
Good shit. Yeah. I'm glad that documentary came out about him too, and kind of, showed some rough stuff in his life about being a shitty father and doing
all the drugs,
whatever.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that he at least got, what is it? The kids say now he got his flowers, basically, or whatever it is, like really got the kudos he deserved for being the legend that he was in that business. Aside from, he was in the WWE Hall of Fame and everything, but I'm glad people also got to see that it wasn't just all gimmick.
Oh yeah, right.
Because until the internet, that's all there was with wrestling.
It
was all gimmick.
Yeah.
You live the gimmick. That's why Vince gave $1 Million Man a diem, basically, and was like, everywhere you go, you eat at the best steakhouses, you fly first class or in a private jet, you have a limousine, because you live the gimmick. And it was like, now that same guy would just be getting something from Hertz, at the airport.
Yeah, exactly.
They just wouldn't care as much, So, and also he wouldn't be the $1 Million Man, because that literally could be like half the roster, It's kind of like I was watching old Batman the other night, and they referred to Bruce Wayne as millionaire Playboy or millionaire or whatever Bruce Wayne, and I'm like, that's so funny, because if he was just
no
millionaire
one give a
Bruce
shit.
Wayne, now people would be like,
okay, so he's got a nice house, I guess. I don't know.
Right? Yeah. Like, how's he own like the top 10 company?
And he's only a millionaire.
What is he? And it's like, well, when you find out he's Batman, you know why. It's like he had to buy all this gear and have this whole fucking cave gutted.
It's a lot of money.
He has like a city. Yeah, it's like he sunk a lot of money into being Batman. You remember that years ago where someone did the estimate of what all the Bat shit would cost? I don't remember. It was so many years ago we did that. Someone sat down and kind of did the math guesstimate of what all of his tech would cost, and I forget. I think it basically is like more than he would be worth, basically,
exactly,
kind of a thing. It was
because it was all like Wayne technology that he was, and it wasn't at the spin. Yeah.
Basically, yeah. Because everything he uses is Wayne Tech. That's basically what it is. Wayne Tech is a front for Batman's toys.
It's like Stark Industries.
He just steals.
Everyone knows who Iron Man is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's the difference. So I was laughing and watching Batman, because I'm like, I understand why the Joker never really went out of his way to unmask Batman, because Joker wants Batman to exist because he loves the cat and mouse game. That's what Joker gets off to is the back and forth between him and Batman, because he's just a fucking nut job. The other villains, you think at some point would want to, like, the first thing they would do is
who is this guy? Let's figure this out.
Who is this motherfucker? Because once you know who he is, it makes finding and catching him a lot easier, or really fucking with his life, But it just makes me it's like, I know you have to push that away because, comic books and everything. But it is just funny how, like I said, even within the comic book world, I get why Joker didn't. That one makes sense because Joker almost doesn't want to know. Like, I'm the Joker, you're Batman. That's all we need
gimmick.
to know here. Yeah. Like, we fucks with each other back and forth.
That's the whole game. That's just what I love. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, did you see that Apple Vision Pro thing, that VR headset that Apple unveiled?
So affordable.
Whoa. Like, the average VR headset's what, $500?
Like, I think you could get an Oculus for a Quest 2 for like $300 or something. Yeah.
Okay. So I was thinking like the Sony one.
Yeah. The like new PS VR 2 was like $500. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so say $300 to $500 is the average price, and Apple was like, we always like to put a little premium. Now, I will say, from the stuff I've read, it sounds like their headset is a long distance from the current VR headsets, meaning this sounds like it has a whole lot more stuff, right? But $3,000
it's
worth of stuff.
What?
Like, holy shit, man! And well, the first thing I'm thinking is like, Apple's always pushed themselves as a premium brand, right? Or has since Steve Jobs took over, right? And that's fine. It's worked fine for them. It helped them regain their leverage. I mean, let's be honest, the iPod and the iPhone are really what
for sure
did it for them. But that rebrand really made a difference. But it's like, this is maybe too far here, because a lot of people that I know that are Mac people are like, I can't afford that.
Well,
like, that's
I haven't really watched like the tech demos and stuff for it, or any of the reviews. I'm sure like what's his name, the Marquee whatever, he's on YouTube, he's been doing tech shit forever on there.
Okay,
so I haven't seen it to justify how it's priced that way, but what I do know is generally when people are buying VR headsets, they want to play games. Oh, sounds like there's a race car outside. Yeah, I got the window open because it's usually hot up here. It's actually pretty comfortable in here right now. Regardless, but people want to buy them to play VR games. Apple is not known for their gaming.
Right. Now, I did see they seem to be pushing this as an augmented reality headset also, which means that when you're wearing it you'll see other things like around you and whatever. But I'm with you. It's like typically what is selling VR stuff now is games.
Like I
So, and Apple does have their arcade thing, but that's still not a real contender to like.
And
Xbox
like I've got Steam on here, and because there is some games I can play on my little mini Mac, but when you click Mac games on Steam, it's so limited.
Well, you can't even get like the new Diablo's not on Mac, and I only know that because apparently Whoopi Goldberg made a big deal about it because she wants to play it. Yeah. And she can't play it on her computer because they didn't make a Mac version.
So augmented reality, I think that is a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like me as an everyday dude, what am I doing with that? Brian, did you just open up the arc reactor?
Oh,
Jesus
I did.
Christ.
Jesus Christ. Oh. Well, no, do you know what it is? Remember I talked about like different things that I had to put back on my computer? I had an extension in Firefox that made every window dark, because even in like the dark mode, for some reason, these other windows are still bright.
It looked like someone opened up the Ark of the Covenant. Don't look at it.
I know.
Don't look at it, Marion.
The worst part is when I open it, I can't see. It's so bright.
That shit was amazing.
I was looking because I had an article from Forbes about the Vision Pro. I was looking to see if it has like other stuff, but without getting into that too much, they do say on there that a guy told this writer for Forbes that that Apple will also be working on a lower price point one. And then this guy's like, so how much lower are we probably talking here? And the guy's like, well, they could probably knock a few $100 off of it. And I'm like, that's not enough. This thing needs to be under $1,000. Or I think this could be Google Glass 2.0.
That's what I think about it. It's like, okay, it's going to be like Google Glass.
Because oh boy.
Oh, terrific. I mean, I hear you.
Work.
I got you. I hear you. I heard you the whole time.
All right. Well, it was froze on my end.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand what I like what I would do with it.
Wow, now I have no audio from you.
We're good.
There we go. Okay, now it's working.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do with it. Like if someone gifted me these, right?
Or we're not.
God damn it, Brian. I computer.
Whoa, what the hell?
Hello? You there?
Howdy. Hold on one second here. That was weird. I can't. Yeah, you're not even moving right now. I don't know if you can hear me, but the video's not even moving.
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Okay, it's moving now, but I can't hear you.
Amazing.
Okay, now.
All right, are we coming back?
Jesus. That was a mess. Okay, and it's back to froze. Jesus Christ. What the hell?
Well, you know, my internet is less than amazing lately.
Okay, well, Cheeto says he can hear us both.
That's a
good thing, at least. Considering some of that time I couldn't hear you, but he could.
You must have actually. My internet's running pretty smoothly right now. Now that I just checked it. Yeah. Good times, Brian.
Oh, maybe. Everything looks all right now.
Were we back in business?
I think. I just want to give it to make sure, because every time it seems like we're okay, it just freezes again. Oh, there it is. Froze again.
Good stuff. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Man, this is annoying. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, a little bit, huh?
It's amazing how freaking bright this damn thing is. I wonder if this guy turned the brightness back up. Yeah, I noticed, Cheeto. Right after you said it smoothed out, it sure didn't.
I know, right?
Also, like when I went to stop the recording, it was like, oh, you've dropped some audio at different points, which makes me wonder what the audio sounds like in these random drops that I'm not going to be able to find, basically.
Probably like shit.
Sometimes it isn't a big deal. Sometimes it's just like where there's quiet and it'll read it as a drop. Like if we both don't talk, it'll read it as a drop, even though it isn't. I'm hoping that's what it was. Otherwise, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Everything seems fine. Everything else is running okay. It's just went poopies. I mean, it seems okay now. Video looks good.
I think everything kind of evened out, whatever was going on there.
Yeah. So all right, let's give her a try again here. All right. Well, sorry about that. If there's any like lost audio there, we apologize for it. I don't know what happened, but things just went squirrely.
It's Big Apple trying to shut us down, talking shit about their headsets.
You know what? You're right. They know the power we wield.
No.
Yep. But anyway, so this guy, was talking about like, three grand still basically for the low end headset, and it was like that's still gonna sit on shelves. I mean, there's gonna be people who will buy it, right? But it's like they need to come out with like a low end. The problem is when you set the pro version at $3,000, you're basically saying, hey, even if we put out the average guy price one, it's going to probably be at least $1,500 to $2,000. And that's still way more than, it's like, it bugs me that these things are as expensive as a computer or more than a computer. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, that's what I want to know what the point is. Cause like we're saying before we went sideways, if it's augmented reality, what does that mean for me as an average user? Like I look at my phone enough. I don't need to have icons floating in front of my face as I'm walking around my house.
What? So you're not going to line up for the Elon Musk thing where they implant the
No, I'm
computer
good. I've played enough
brain?
Cyberpunk. No, it's a bad idea. People can hack your shit.
Well, yeah. I also wouldn't trust it because it's, a brand of his.
I mean, like what is this going to be? Like, what was that Tom Cruise movie where you could like manipulate shit in the air with the computers? Yeah.
Top Gun?
No. Yeah, that's a Minority Report.
Yeah.
I mean, so what am I going to do? Be like, all right, well, it's time to edit the video.
That would be kind of cool if you could.
I mean, it would be kind of cool, but it's not $3,500 cool.
No,
this thing better like jack me off for that much money. It might.
It might. Have you seen the pictures of how you can see like somebody's
eyes? Oh yeah, I got them pulled up for
our
video feed right now.
It's creepy as shit. Yeah. But what I want is a something that pop up in there to makes it look like I have
googly eyes on the outside of it
while I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's much better.
Yeah.
So yeah, it says that it seamlessly blends digital content with your physical space. But that's what I'm looking at. Is it looks like you can do a lot of stuff with your voice, and it looks like you can also, like you were just saying, like in Minority Report, where he's very much like, you see 5 screens in front of you and you could just move things with your hands, basically.
But
I just don't see myself wanting to use that much. But again, it's in fairness, we said the same shit about smartphones.
Yeah, that's true.
First came out. I'll never put any apps on my phone. Now I have like 1,000
And I mean,
on my
as
phone.
a guy that has an Oculus, it's cool as hell, and I can I have sat on the couch and watched like videos or surfed the net on it and stuff. And it is kind of cool to be in your own little space and moving the windows around. But I just can't see myself wanting this thing. There has to do something pretty incredible for me to even go like, oh, that would be cool to get eventually. But that's so far out of my price range.
Right. Exactly, right? That's my thing is like, no matter what. And the other thing is like, Apple stuff does not really come down in price. They don't go, oh, blah, blah, blah. The only way it does would be like when the Vision Pro 2 comes out or something, then the first one will go down a little bit, but it's still not going to go crazy, I mean, I'm looking through and reading this stuff, and like the spatial audio, it's got like the screens in your eyes are going to be like 4K. That's awesome. It's got eye tracking, so you can. It sounds like it's got a lot of really cool stuff, but it's like I'm with you. I just don't know what about it would be like, oh my God, I have to have this, So I don't, I just don't see it. Especially at the price point. If Apple was like, hey, it's this and it's $750, I could see it, because then that's the Apple Premium on top of everything else, and it offers things that like the Sony one or the Oculus or whatever, the Meta Quest or whatever it's called, doesn't offer. Cool, I can live with that. But man, $3,500, even $3,000 if it's the stripped down version. Like that's just.
I think it's weird. You got to have like the battery pack in your pocket.
Oh,
yeah,
do you?
It's
I didn't even see that. Okay.
It doesn't have a built-in battery like any of them, all the other ones do. Yeah.
That is really weird.
I'm sure it's way lighter.
And I bet that's. I was just gonna say, I'm sure that's for comfort, because a lot of people. Also, if that battery gets hot, you'd for sure much rather have that on your leg than your head. But It is weird though that you have to.
I know
put it in your pocket, but there have been other video game things where you have to put something in, like if you're using the what is it, the Switch exercise thing, that wheel thing that they have. I think you put like the thing in your pocket, or with the Wii, some of the exercise stuff, you would put the controller in your pocket. So I guess that's not terrible, but it's with you. It's a little weird.
From going back to the Oculus, like I can stand in my living room. I have no cords on me. And that one you have to have a cord running down you and in your pocket because of the battery pack.
It is a little surprising they didn't design it to be totally cord free, to where you could put it near you or something like that. But for battery's sake,
so I'm sure it's way lighter on your head than the Oculus is.
Yeah, which would be great for me. I mean, my head's heavy enough, man. I ain't trying to put more.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Jesus. Like, I got to wear a brace.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to try one, but I don't know if that'll ever be a thing. Like, I don't know if you'll be able to walk into Best Buy and put one on and see what it's like, because otherwise it's like that's the way. I bet
you at the Apple store to let you. They'll have somebody there to wipe it down and stuff.
Probably, because oh god, otherwise that'd be disgusting, right? But because that would be cool if you could put it on and try it for a couple minutes. Because I think, like I said, I think that'll sell a lot more of them. Because like for you and I, we're like whatever. But if we put it on, like, dude,
shit.
like I don't know, man, this is pretty cool. Yeah. Anyway,
moving on.
Did you see they at the Xbox keynote, they officially revealed or Xbox showcase the new Fable game finally.
Oh, did they? I did not. I mean, since I haven't had an Xbox in so long, I don't really pay attention to Xbox.
I only noticed because somebody I know mentioned Fable, and I was like, "What, new Fable?"
Wow,
so,
that's fascinating.
Yeah, it's cool because oh shit, what's his name? The guy from the IT crowd. Shit, I can't think of the character's name either. Jesus, the one who sets his desk on fire.
Oh, Moss,
yeah.
Oh, a fire.
Yeah, I can't think of his real name, but anyways, he's in the video, and they do a reveal in it to where it actually shows the heroine climbing up to like this giant thing, and it reveals that he's a giant, and it shows you having to fight him basically.
That's pretty cool.
It looks, and I don't know for sure like what if that's actual gameplay or not, but it looked really cool. I did see, and this cracked me up so much. There were people online yesterday already, because it's the internet,
of course,
and guys being guys on the internet, talking about how ugly the protagonist is in the game, and how they're tired of all of these women-led games, or these games with these women characters that are not very attractive. And I'm like, who fucking cares?
Yeah, it's a video game, bro.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be beaten off to the character. You're supposed to play the game and enjoy the game. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, well, there's creepers out there for everything.
That's what I said, right? Guys on the internet being guys on the internet,
it's like
just shaking my head at it,
Yeah, because I've been playing Cyberpunk. I joined the Cyberpunk subreddit.
Yeah.
I was looking at it just the other day. Someone posted this cool video of them jumping around doing like superhero shit in it. I'm like, oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
And I looked at their username, and there's a woman in the game that you do missions with. Her name's Pan Am. Yeah. And his name was just Pan Am's Cheeks, because she's got like a big butt or whatever.
Well, of course, right?
I'm like, I'm just like, God, what is wrong with people?
What the fuck, man?
It's like these are all pretend people, right?
Right. Yeah. They didn't announce a release date for it yet, which always is the problem, because they announced that they were doing a new Fable game back in like 2020, and now we're getting some like footage basically, and it's like, so is it gonna be like 2029 before it comes out?
I mean, is what's his name, Peter Molyneux involved, the Fable guy, or they finally kick his crazy ass out?
I don't see anything about him on here. Yeah, so I mean, I'm super excited for it. I mean, I've got a Xbox One and an Xbox Series S, so it says that it's going to be on. I'm hoping it's not going to be like where you have to have the X series or whatever. But it says, they figure that it'll probably, since it's being made by Microsoft, odds are it'll be in the Game Pass thing, which would be dope.
Oh, nice.
If so, I wouldn't have to buy it. I'll just get the Game Pass and play the shit out of it if it's any good.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
That's one of my favorite franchises, even though the last few that they've done I've had no interest in, like the Kinect one, and there was another one that they came out with that was more of like a mini game one or something, and I tried it because I think it was a free game with gold or something, and I was like, this stinks. Like just give me another Fable game, damn it.
Fable 1 and 2 masterpieces.
Yeah.
Fable 3, I was kind of like, it's all right, you know. Yeah.
So I'm hoping this will be a return to glory. I love, my favorite thing in the video at the very end, it shows the girl, the protagonist, like kicking a chicken. And I was like, well, I'm glad to see they haven't eliminated that. What's funny, there's this guy pushing a cart down a road. She kicks the chicken, and he's like, oh, yeah, very nice. Like, he's just so not impressed.
I guess I should have pulled it up.
So I was, very excited for that, even though who knows when it'll come out, if it'll come out.
If it'll come out.
You always have to put that caveat on video games that you never know if it'll even hit ever actually see the light.
Sad but true, right?
Yeah, and unfortunately, I got to blind myself and everyone else for this one. Sorry.
Brian's been blessed from above.
This is my Fable character. You see, I'm very
blessed. Holy.
Very holy. I know, right? I gotta fix that before the next one. I forgot to download.
Like on your fake background, there's like a shadow almost. I don't even know how it happens. It's so bright it cracked the fourth dimension.
All right, well, I'm gonna click back over here so I can see. They also revealed first game footage of Star Wars. I gotta click back on it because I don't remember the name of the game. There it is, Star Wars Outlaws. Which is an open world Star Wars game.
Oh, that's cool.
And it shows like some gameplay of like how you have like a pet that is with you, and you kind of like she's in this one base, and you can. It very much reminds you of Batman, like Arkham Asylum. You know how like when you see the guys and you can kind of be like, do I attack them like just an attack, or do I try to find some sneaky style attack? It looks like you have the option in this too. And like it shows her sneaking around, and she can attack the guys. I think you can have your pet attack, but she also sees this like button on the wall, so she has the thing go hit the button. And as this box kind of swings by, she grabs on the back of it so they can't see her, and then she transports to another spot. So you can move on in the board without having to directly, attack enemies, because then a warning could be, off. Then everyone and their mother will come after you, basically.
Brian, real tired of these Star Wars games with these female leads, and they're letting them wear pants. How the audacity she's wearing pants and not a dress.
Well, one thing is she's not wearing a bra.
That's true.
Because bras don't exist in space. Yep. But it looks pretty cool though. Like she, gets into kind of a gunfight at one point, and it looks like at some point you have to like fly to escape the Empire, which that's going to be a nightmare for me probably.
You love flight games. Be all right.
Well, what I'm hoping is it's one where you're not really, really flying. It's more like you're just more like pointing the vehicle a certain way, Those flying games I can handle, but when I actually have to fly it, that's when it gets real messy.
That's what's a problem.
Yeah, real problem. I'm gonna be like, hey, Tony, I need you to come over for a minute.
Like, what?
Or let me bring my PlayStation over for a minute,
Whoa.
I need you to straighten out this flying mission for me. Like I used to do with Grand Theft Auto and my nephew.
I mean,
if there was a flying mission, I'd be like, "Hey, can you do this for me?"
Like I need some assistance over here, yo.
I had you do it too. Yeah, I just can't. So I mean, in fairness, I've done a few, but they usually don't go well. I've told you about like the one where I crashed right at the checkpoint. Or the best one will always be. What was that? Was that a Battlefield game, or was that a Call of Duty where I went to take off the aircraft carrier and crashed the plane before I got off the aircraft?
It must have been Battlefield, just because vehicles.
Oh, God. That one's maybe my favorite because I didn't even get off the ground. or the aircraft carrier. Anyway, but yeah, this game looks pretty fun. This comes out next year, I believe it said.
Right on.
I keep scrolling the Fable one because I can't click on the other one or I'll blind myself in every one again. So, yeah. But yeah, looks pretty fun.
Nice.
Yeah. I know there's other stuff that people were like super geeked about, like Alan Wake 2. I think they finally showed.
Oh, that's been a long time coming too, huh?
Yeah, long time. It's like, man, I don't even remember if I played the first one. I think I did, but I don't remember. You know, it's been so long now. It feels very similar to the wait for like Diablo 3.
Right.
You know, you remember it was like, yeah, we're never getting this game. And then it came out. And we're like, oh, and then they were like, yeah, we're working on Diablo 4. And everyone's like, yeah, okay, sure.
Sure you are. You know? Yeah, all right there,
and
bud.
Here we are. Now it's out, you know, so. Speaking of, I forgot to tell you about that. Another good guy story.
Oh, yeah?
Went over to, I got a text from the manager at GameStop and was like, hey, if you come in Monday, he's like, you can get, like, we have the Steelbook for Diablo. And basically it's just the case. Like we're giving, like, and when you pay for it, we give you the case. And then when you pick up the game, you'll have the case. Right. And I was like, oh man, I can't, because of the computer stuff, like I'm a little tight on money. I can't really, whatever. Went over there on Tuesday with my brother because he had something to pick up. And we're talking with guy working there, and the guy was like, and I was like, yeah, it sucks, I missed the Steelbooks. And he's like, we still have a few. He's like, you want one? And I'm like, well, I can't pick the game up today. And he's like, whatever. He walks over and gets one and hands it to me.
So it's good to know people.
I was like, awesome. Yeah, I was like, cool. So when I do eventually pick up the game, and I was also like, I had some money on the game to to reserve it. And I was like, well, I guess, can I move that to a different pre-order? But he's like, you don't have to. He's like, you can just leave that on there. He's like, when you do come to pick up the game, you'll already have that money toward the game. I'm like, oh, like, well, for sure, leave it on there then, because Diablo is one of those games that's $70.
Well, of course. So,
like, fucking hey, you know, and that's not even a special edition. That's just
regular normal ass game.
Version. Yeah. And it's like, I keep itching because I keep seeing commercials for it, and I keep getting that Twitch, but
that's why I still have no problem paying the, $100 or whatever dollars for the PlayStation Plus, like premium, because it gives me access to so many games.
Yeah.
That I'd rather spread that out over a year than keep buying games now.
Well, it makes sense, right? Like you said, if one new game is $70, or you can spend, even if it was like $150, like, okay, that's 2 games basically.
Right.
Like, okay, so instead of buying 2 games, I have access to like 200 games. So I get it, man. I do. It's just like most other games that come out, I'm like, I'll just wait till they're cheaper.
Oh
it's
yeah.
like,
I know you're a Diablo guy.
So
I mean,
Diablos.
Yeah.
Like, well, it was funny because the other day I was even looking at my games and stuff, like, do I have anything that has any trade-in value? And it's like, the only thing I really have that has any trade-in value would be Twilight or whatever, the new Zelda game. And I'm like, well, I'm for sure not trading that in.
Right,
like,
right.
So, like, that's basically it. Everything else I have is not really, especially at GameStop, they'll give you like 5 cents.
Yeah, 5 cents and a hairball.
Yeah. So I was like, that's all right. It'll happen. Just gonna take me a while.
Exactly.
It's all right.
Just a wee bit.
Well, on the upside too, like the last one, my nephew had it before I did, and when I got my PlayStation 4, I bought that like the same day, and we immediately started playing together. I think he's playing it on his computer this time. Like, you're not getting it, or not at this point. Maybe
not right away. Yeah, maybe down the road.
So,
yeah.
So it's not like I've got people like, dude, come on, waiting for me to get it and play with them. So, although I guess I could find out if Garrett's getting it. Maybe I could get it on the Xbox instead and play that way. But
true.
Because
is it cross-platform or no?
I don't think it is.
I've already Googled that shit. Already Googled that shit, Brian.
It'd be awesome if it was. It should be, but probably not.
Probably not. I don't know why it wouldn't be though. Honestly.
Yeah. You'd think most games would be at this point, especially big multiplayer games. You'd think they would try to do it. Although I don't know. The big scare or big fear I have is I keep seeing people like talking about different times that it's the servers sometimes are a little wonky. And I'm like, that's the only thing I don't like about that, like, always on type of game.
Right.
Is that if the servers get sketchy, you get real glitchy, or you can't play a certain dungeon, or you can't keep connected to the party you're with or something like that. And it's like that's where I miss the other versions better, or more like where you just like I connect with you and you and I go play kind of thing, versus having to play where the whole world can get in.
Looks like it's cross-platform between PC and Xbox, but not PlayStation.
Oh, that makes sense because Microsoft has the ability to do that with their stuff. Okay. Well, actually, that's good to know, because if my nephew can play cross-platform, maybe it is better to get it on Xbox this time.
Yeah, there you go.
Although I think I'll have to look. I think you get like rewards for like having played before. Anyway, whatever. Moving on. So yeah, that's all the stuff I got. I don't know if you have anything else.
I'm pretty much out of stuff, honestly.
All right. Well, let's get to our Q of the W's.
Yeah, pluralized.
Yeah. So.
I would say last week, like I normally do, but it wasn't last week. Wait, which was the seltzer was the last episode, so we got to go previous episode.
Well, actually, let me go first on one, because I have one from a couple of weeks ago that Cheeto sent in, because of my computer I couldn't access it when we recorded, which was, what's the worst dish your parents made when you were a kid? And he said, this is a hard question because honestly my mom was and still is a pretty good cook. I suppose if I had to pick, it would be canned spinach. Ugh, that shit is terrible. I hated eating it, but if it was on the plate, you ate it. I feel you, buddy, because I was the same way. I like spinach. I will wilt spinach now and eat it. I'll eat it in different stuff, but if you hand me canned spinach,
shit's pretty vile. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said a close second would be the one and only time my dad made pancakes, and they were like eating concrete discs encased in lead, but with less flavor.
That sounds incredible.
Speaking of, have I ever told you, like, I keep wondering every time I see these breakfast places, like, why they don't take and do the smash burger concept, but with breakfast sausage, and just go pancake, big old platter of sausage, pancake.
I don't know.
Right? And then you just put whatever topping you want over it, whether it's syrup or gravy or whatever. I think
this is a brilliant idea.
Like, you just do it real thin because it's going to be a big piece of sausage, but you don't have to do like plate-sized pancakes. I'm just talking normal-sized pancake, but just go pancake, sausage, pancake, and then, like I said, just put out whatever you want over the top of it. Seems like it'd be delicious, right?
I dig that idea, Brian. I dig it a lot. I might have to try this.
I mean, and I don't mean, you could pick it up and eat it like a sandwich, I guess, too, but I didn't mean it that way.
It'd be like a McGriddle. A big smash. Yeah.
Right.
That sounds good.
Anyway.
So I guess 2 episodes ago, we asked you guys, what is your ideal age you would want to stay if you became a vampire? Instagram let us down on this one. You might find it shocking. But Instagram just dropped the ball totally on this one. But face page, we got plenty. Dev, you lost your diamond status, looks like. Formerly diamond top fan. I don't know.
How?
Dev, he says 30. Old enough that people actually listen to you. Young enough that the body doesn't sound like a bag of microwave popcorn every time I stand up. That's pretty good.
Fair point.
Julie, she says 21, peak years. Stephanie Menard, we never had her on, did we? I don't think we ever did. Yeah, we tried.
No, we tried, and it just never worked out.
Stephanie, she says 28 was a good year. 28 sounds really good. Smiley face. Your mom chimes in. 35. At this age, maybe you'll sound like a mature adult, old enough to get some respect from others. And then...
Yeah. I agree. I think that's pretty
good consensus there.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. That was like when I looked it up on Reddit, that's what a lot of people said too. And I think that really is the truth, because the older you get, the less people want to listen to you. And the younger you are, the less people want to listen to you. So, I think... Yeah. That would be funny, is have... That's a good like SNL sketch, right? It's like have McConaughey standing out, he's a vampire, and he does that to where everyone else is like different ages, but he stays the same. Be 40. Says, yeah, I was in better shape than I am now or when I was 30.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right. So what about the other one?
The other one was behind like a Captain Crunch variety pack of seltzers.
Oh, that would be interesting. I could too. That could be a very
I know he said
one.
Smurfberry, but I'm thinking Crunch Berries.
Right, because you have Crunch Berries, you have
like it should be Captain Crunch, Peanut Butter Crunch, and then Oops All Crunch Berries, and then it's it.
There you go. You're right. Yeah. Correct.
And then former Diamond Top fan Big Dev says, I'd call it Cult 45. It would be salty and taste like Cheetos. Delicious.
I like
it.
And
then I'm going to flip it over here to Instagram. And Freehand Furniture, which I do believe is our pal Craig Nickel.
Oh, okay.
Says,
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's got his own little business now.
Way if he listens.
Absolutely. He says buffalo wings, hot mustard, coffee nut, cherry pie, mango habanero.
The hot wing pack is an interesting idea.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how that would taste or work, but it's an interesting idea for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Our former enthusiast guest and pal Philip says honeydew, mint, and aloe.
All right, he needs to just quit with his hipster shit.
Yeah, that's pure Bath and Body Works right there. That's the Bath and Body Works seltzer pack.
Yep.
And then Steve Zero, he says, I don't know what it's called, but that feeling when you put your tongue on a 9-volt battery, metallic sizzling. Anyway, the real answer is pussy, and we all know it.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
Because originally I'm thinking, so you just take like a can of seltzer and you just soak pennies in it? Like,
right.
And then when he changes to the other, I'm like, well, that certainly is a much funnier response. Wow.
But that's what I got on my end here for our Q to W's, Brian.
All right. Well, I apologize to anyone watching, but I'm going to have to blind you all here to read Cheeto's response. Cheeto says, salty seltzers, the sexiest seltzers, period. That's way too tough to read. He says the salty language seltzer pack for him would be hot dog water. This is the first thing I thought while listening, and then Stu said it. Great minds. Beard oil and pissed rocks. Oh yeah, muscle piss. How did we not think a muscle piss would be one of them?
I mean, we were trying not to die drinking those sliced apple seltzers or whatever.
No, muscle piss will be the like Patreon exclusive flavor. Like when you subscribe to the high end Patreon, you get like a sixer of muscle piss. Yeah, muscle piss seltzer.
Exactly.
Then he says the enthusiast seltzer pack is a sexy old fashioned, the beardiest Baltica. Oh god.
Oh god.
Does Baltica make? Oh my god. I hope they don't. I don't want to have to drink those.
I'm looking.
All right, Landjager Lager.
Hell yeah.
Which I like that. I'm in for that. Yeah. And Death Toe IPA, only in the special edition salty pack. I like the Death Toe IPA is a great one. Like if we ever brew beers, Death Toe IPA is for sure one that should be made.
Yeah, you're not lying, man.
Oh, I don't know how we never thought of that one before. Well played. He says Mrs. Bandito would like to see a hard version of Dr. Pepper. However, she isn't into seltzers. That one has to be called Dr. Pepper. Come on now. Come on. We're all adults here. Let's not.
We're all adults here.
He says, I would like to see a hard cola seltzer that actually tasted like a Coke, not like it was just sitting next to a Coke. A Captain and Coke with a hint of lime would be nice too. Yeah, if that's why I think you have to get into the Lemmy that Jack Dagnalls has out, where it's Jack Dagnalls and Coke, not cola, but they have one with Coke that, that's the move, is to just buy cans of that.
Oh, for sure, right?
Forget these seltzers. You're just drinking Lemmys all night. And then, oh, I didn't know this. He said, suggestion for you. If they're in your area, New York Seltzer makes a hard variety.
What?
Oh, okay. He says his local Kroger often has them. I'll for sure have to look for those. Because we both, man, New York Seltzer goes all the way back to when we were little children.
Like, I've been trying really hard to find the Arizona ones.
Yeah. Have you tried Arizona? Or I guess I have to use the old joke. Have you looked behind the couch?
Exactly, right?
So I'm taking you're not finding the Baltica.
I'm on Baltica's website.
Yeah.
And they have a link that's called Beers You Love, right?
So it's none of their beers.
So I pulled it up, and they have canned mixes. They have alcohol in it. So they have got a cranberry mix, a black currant, and a berry mix.
Oh my God.
And it's 7% alcohol. They got a watermelon that's 4.6, but they're not technically seltzers.
I wonder what they are then.
I don't know, because I tried clicking on them and it didn't give me anything.
Huh.
And then they do sell like energy drinks and shit like that too.
That's a terrible idea.
But yeah, they got these, like, they have like an apple type thing and a blackberry. But they're not seltzers. They're not listed as seltzers. I don't even know where we
find those anyways, because like Baltica, we've only seen it like one place.
Yeah, and that store doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't even know where we'd find them. Anyway, so we'll have to do some independent research on that.
Bizarre beers.
New York Seltzer, though.
Yeah, that's it. That's interesting.
Yeah. Because I'd for sure, like I said, those are the kind of ones that are perfect for us because we've got the history with New York Seltzer as well.
For sure, do we?
So, yeah. All right. Well, we'll have to have a look-see for those.
A look-see?
In fact, I think I'll be heading to Kroger tomorrow, so I'll have
all right.
I'll have my first shot at looking. Although I need to check, because if I don't find them there, I should check like Michigan too, because, different distribution.
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
All right. Well, let's get to our Q of the W. This week is, 1 through 13.
I got to go lucky number 13, man.
All right.
I love that
lucky number 7.
It's good. No, I said it's actually getting a little chilly up here now.
Oh,
okay. I'm just in like shorts and a t-shirt. I've got the fan in the window going, and it's starting to get a little crispy upstairs.
Like it.
Yeah. Crispy.
All right. What's the biggest issue America faces right now?
Well, that's kind of a heavy one, my guy.
Doesn't have to.
Probably the lack of Baltica seltzers. Yeah. That'd be my guess.
Right.
If you would have caught me on Friday, it would have been the belly of laxatives I was dealing with as an American citizen.
Right.
No, honestly, if you want to get for real, healthcare is ridiculous.
It's hard to not. That it's actually like that's like mine was going to be empathy.
That too.
Like a lack of just a lack of caring about like the fact that people are slipping through the cracks and they don't need to. We have the resources, we have the money, we can build them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we can fix these problems, but the people in charge don't want to fix these problems, and that's maybe there's the problem. I don't know, but yeah. So I think we're in similar spots, but healthcare is a damn good answer because
like for me, it like I see it with Michelle because she really struggles. She's got a lot more going on than I do, but like for me, it really sucks that I have to like look at it and be like, well, for me to do this, I'm gonna have to miss work. Because, I don't have, like, sick days like anyone normally should.
Yeah.
And I pay a ton of money for insurance, but I'm still going to have to pay a ton more to cover whatever happens.
Yeah.
So it's like, can I afford to go to the doctor? Which is something you shouldn't have to do.
Right. And it's one of those things that for years, I mean, and it's been that way for years with us too, but it's gotten worse over the years because healthcare coverage has gotten worse because it's all about optimization and trying to not pay out money so that they keep more money. Right.
Absolutely.
But it's like, it reminds you of like whenever you take your animal to the vet.
Yeah.
And you're like, you have to have conversations ahead of time sometimes. So where it's like, hey, what's our budget here? And that's fucking awful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know? Like, I remember when, not the cat I have now, the one before, when me and Jen went to take her in, and they were like, well, she's got to have all her teeth removed, kind of a thing. And we were like, what can we afford here?
Right.
You know? And it's like, that's terrible. You know, it's like, I don't want to have to, like, and it's not like we were going to put the cat down, but it was like, we may not be able to get all of the teeth removed. So she's got to suffer in the meantime until we can afford, you know what I mean? Instead of being able to just get it dealt with and be able to afford it. And then now you're seeing humans do the same thing with their own teeth. Like, can I afford to get a tooth removed that's, you know, a problem? Can I, you know, or how many Americans you see walking around with no teeth in their mouth?
It's stupid.
It's like, teeth should be, be a luxury, you know? It's like, come on. And it's just, and I know there's bigger picture stuff than that, but you know what I mean? It's like, just that level, there's no fucks given. So why would there be on bigger levels? So it's like, you know, healthcare, just caring about people slipping through the cracks, I think, you know, in general is just, like I said, there's no reason for it. There's enough resources, there's enough money, there's enough everything. It's just, you know, we all should be trying to go, hey, I'm tired of watching my neighbors struggle.
Right.
You know, to just, you know, survive, or myself struggle to survive. Or like you said, you pay an ass ton in insurance and then, oh, you also have a deductible. You know, it's like, why am I paying $600 or $800 a month in insurance then? Like, then I still have to pay up to $1,800 or something like that myself. You know, like, this doesn't make, you know, and the real reason is because nobody can actually save money, right? Like, if we could all actually save money, like, insurance wouldn't just tried to drop.
The internet loves us.
But yeah, you don't have to make it heavy if you don't want to. If you want to make it something funny, feel free, you know, because
going for us.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, Cheeto also said it, you know, he's like still making payments on a shoulder therapy / injections from 2 years ago.
It's insane.
Just fucking ridiculous. Like, pay your bills, Cheeto.
I mean, when I got that x-ray done, they're like, so do you want to pay now or should we bill you? I'm like, bill me. You know? For the love of God, bill me.
Oh my God, come on. Just hang on for
just power through it, Brian. Can you hear me? All right, just power through it, buddy.
All right. All right. Well, there you go. The question again is, you know, what do you? I don't even remember. What's the biggest issue America? Other shows there. If you happen to talk to Mark, tell him to fix our damn internet.
Yeah, I agree with this one. 100%.
Like, I don't know what it is, but we need Markco brand internet to solve our problems, apparently. Yeah, geez. If you want to reach out to us on social media, you can find the show on Twitter at salty_language. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stunami. I don't think it's going to let Tony say the links, so just go to saltylanguage.com. All the links are there.
I'm going to try. The Monotony on Instagram. Patreon.com/saltylanguage. Check us out. We got bonus stuff there. Salty Language on TikTok for more bonus stuff. If you're watching this, I know it's been shitty tonight, and I apologize. But it's All the Beers on YouTube. Like, not All the Beers. I'm reading. Oh, my God. It's Salty Language Pod on YouTube. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. I also have All the Beers on there, but it's been pretty inactive lately. Brian, what else you got going on?
You can check out my other podcast, which is The Crazy Life, which we should have had a new episode up last night, but that didn't so much happen. So we're going to record, I think, this coming Wednesday. So there'll be a new episode up soonish. But yeah, it's me and Jen and Heno talking about mental health stuff and recovery and addiction and all that kind of stuff. So if you're into any of that, please give us a listen. All right. So now our insult of the week is foozle.
Foozle.
Yeah. It says this is one you'd probably hear coming out of an old married couple. Ye old foozle, ye forgot to lock the door again. Apparently it means a conservative, out-of-date person, especially an old man. Dodo, fogey. You can also use this word to imply a bungled effort on someone's part. Say your first shot off the 18th tee landed in the lake. Well, you foozled.
Wow. All right. Fair enough.
Yep.
The old foozle.
Yep. So, all right, with that, before the internet completely kills us, man, have an internet, you'll be fine.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, a good internet, maybe.
That's true. All right, let's just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.